Hi, I'm Charles Colaw, and this is my wife, Amber Colaw. We're the owners of Colaw Fitness. I got started into fitness back in high school. I was over 300 pounds and I wanted to lose weight. So I came to a gym and I got signed up with a trainer and got started on working out, and I lost over 83 pounds by eating better and exercising. And I too want to help you achieve those goals. I'm passionate about helping people get into shape because I too was overweight, and I want other people to feel like that they too can achieve these results. And that's where we want to make sure that we've got the free trainer instruction, we got the free dietary instruction, which is so important to helping you actually succeed, and that we give you the guidance and encouragement so that you can be successful for weight loss.
Boom! Shake the room, Fire Nation. JLD here, and welcome to Entrepreneurs on Fire. Today we'll be breaking down how to build time freedom and financial freedom, creating business with colawfitness.com. To drop these value bombs, I brought to Clay Clark in the EO Fire Studios. Clay is the co-founder of 5 Kids, the host of the 6 times iTunes chart-topping Thrivetime podcast, the 2007 Oklahoma SBA Entrepreneur of the Year, the 2002 Tulsa Metro Chamber of Commerce Young Entrepreneur of the Year, and an Amazon bestselling author, singer-songwriter, and founder of several multi-million-dollar businesses. And today we'll talk about turnkey lead generation, scalable systems and proven processes, customer wow systems, measure what you treasure, and oh, so much more. And a big thank you for sponsoring today's episode goes to Clay and our sponsors. Whether your company earns millions or even hundreds of millions, NetSuite helps you stay ahead of the pack. Right now, get the business guide, Demystifying AI, free at netsuite.com/fire. The guide is free to you at netsuite.com/fire. Are you ready for the ultimate all-in-one platform for entrepreneurs, marketers, coaches, and agencies? Build funnels, automate follow-ups, manage clients, and even white label your own software. Say hello to our featured partner, High Level, and visit highlevelfire.com to start your free trial today. Fire Nation, we are here. We're talking about how to build time freedom. We're talking about how to build financial freedom. And who better to talk with this about than Mr. Clay Clark himself? I told you all about him in the intro. He's an incredible entrepreneur on so many different levels. And we're going to be talking about so many different things today. I mean, turnkey lead generation is one of Clay's specialties. And Clay, I want to start here, have you just kind of talk a little bit about this, bring in our 2 guests, and then just keep the fire going, because you talk about creating turnkey lead generation as a path to higher compensation. Break that down for us. What does a truly automated, scalable lead system look like, and why does it directly impact our income?
Well, first off, I'll say, John Lee Dumas, somebody's listening to this show right now and they're going, is this show for me? Is it show for someone else? This show, if you're listening to this show right now, this show's for you. I want to tell you a story. Jim Rohn, best-selling author, quoted often by Tony Robbins, Jim Rohn, R-O-H-N. And I'm paraphrasing, but he used to talk about how he said, there is no someday. If you look at the standard calendar, there's just today, right? You got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But if you look at your calendar, there's no someday. And 8 years ago, 9 years ago, a beautiful man by the name of Charles Colaw and a wonderful woman by the name of Amber Colaw, they were listening to this podcast, JLD. They were listening to the EO Fire podcast. And they were wanting to build turnkey systems to help them grow and scale their company. Their company is colawfitness.com. Imagine if like Planet Fitness teamed up with Chick-fil-A. It's that Chick-fil-A level of customer service with the Planet Fitness level of equipment. They reached out. They were probably nervous and afraid that they might end up talking to me at some point.
Yep.
And they thought, okay, but they went to thrivetimeshow.com/EO Fire. They filled out the form. This is like, I think almost 8 years ago, 9 years ago.
Wow.
And from the time that we initially talked for our first consultation, when they were looking to create turnkey systems, Colaw Fitness has grown exponentially, and that is going to be our case study guests on today's show. So without any further ado, JLD, we've got Amber Colaw, Charles Colaw, colawfitness.com. Charles and Amber, welcome onto the show.
All right. We are excited.
Thanks for having us on.
Yeah, absolutely. We're excited about talking to you guys.
And so I would just say this, JLD, that I'll throw it back to you, is if you're watching this business show right now, you're listening to the show, If you don't have a way to generate leads, your business will not succeed. Let me try that again. It kind of rhymes. If you don't have a way to generate perpetually new leads, your business will just simply not succeed, right? So your business needs a turnkey way to do that. So you say, well, how do we do that? Well, if you go to colawfitness.com, colawfitness.com, that's the website, that's the case study. You can go there to check it out. And also, JLD, we have over 2,000 case studies.
Incredible.
Thrivetime.show.com of both online and offline businesses. So the Colaws, they are both online and offline. What does that mean? It means you can interact with their business online, but they're also offline. They have an actual physical gym you can go to. But what we had to do is step number one is we had to install a turnkey way to generate leads. Now, with their particular business, this is how we do it. One, JLD, they need to be top in the search engine results.
Yes.
Now, that goes to Rock, OpenAI, artificial intelligence. You want to be top in those search engine results, whether it be AI or not. And we have a system for doing that. Number two is they need to make sure that when you're driving by their locations that you know that they exist. If you're driving by a Colaw Fitness gym in Joplin or Oklahoma City or Tulsa or Topeka or Dallas, Texas, and you don't know that they exist, it's very hard to interact with them. So again, they got to be top in the search results. Two, they got to be top of mind when you drive by. And then third, from a social media marketing perspective, people need to verify that they are real. And so we need case studies and testimonials. But again, with Colaw Fitness or every other business, if you're listening to today's show, no matter what business you have, you must implement a three-legged marketing stool, JLD, a way in which you generate leads in a turnkey and scalable way that does not involve your actual individual effort as the owner of the company.
Okay, value bombs were dropped, mics were dropped, Fire Nation. I know you're fired up right now, but first I got to ask you two that are the guests on the show right now, don't you guys owe me a trip down to Puerto Rico? Don't I remember that?
Oh yeah,
Yes.
we need to come. We're excited about doing that. We need to do that.
I mean, I
And
described my whole home gym. I said, you're not going to miss a beat. I have weights down here. I've got the whole 9 yards, poolside, Caribbean side. It's going to happen. You guys are going to come down. I mean, we were hanging out at the event. You said you're coming down. It's been a couple of years now. What's the holdup?
we're right on the edge of doing that. We've got a lot of things that we've placed in service, but we're wanting to come. We just are always busy, but we need to make it work.
I love it. Well, we're always busy, and that's just the world that we live in. So with what
True.
Clay just shared about how the two of you approached him, and it's been 8-9 years now. I mean, what are a couple of things that you have implemented into your business based off of what Clay was just sharing about this turnkey lead generation, these systems at scale that just really have made a big difference for your business?
Absolutely. Well, the big thing I've learned, because Amber and I, we live in Florida. Our clubs are in the Midwest, so Oklahoma, Texas, Missouri, and Kansas. So we have a chain of gyms. Clay has helped us build systems that don't require us to actually work in the business. We just work on the business and on the business systems. And so Clay's helped us do that. And so to kind of deep dive some of that, we've kind of created an 8-armed marketing octopus over the years. Of course, 3 is really great to start with, but Clay's really kind of one-upped it with us over the years. And so we have a lot of different ways that we're in front of the ideal and likely buyer with a lot of great no-brainer offers. And our ads literally never stop. So we always have ads running. We never cut the ads. They always are running. They're always no-brainer offers. And so whether they come in the club or they get pulled into our software automation, or we actually have a call center and customer service department that is constantly calling, texting, and emailing guests. And we do leverage software within our software too to stay in front of the ideal and likely buyer. Any hot lead, any lead that we have, we make sure all of that's automated, and it's always on full go all the time.
That's fire. Amber, what do you want to add to that? Like, what's something that you've really implemented because of working with Clay that you're just like, we probably would have not done that, or we definitely would have not done that without Clay's genius, without Clay's zone of fire? What's that thing?
That thing for us absolutely has to be a culture of accountability. Clay was so encouraging to encourage us to hold our staff accountable. And that was something that was really tough for us in the beginning, learning how to manage people. It's always hard, and you feel like the bad guy and you don't want to hurt people's feelings. But he really encouraged us to have that culture of accountability. So on all of these items, it's holding all of these staff members that make these things happen accountable. The marketing department, the customer service department, the general managers on location, that all these things are happening on site and behind the scenes so that well-oiled machine never stops. And so that I think the accountability part, as far as our leadership and management, has been the key to keeping it going.
I love that you brought that up. I mean, I've now interviewed over 4,800 entrepreneurs, and so many of them say something along the lines of like, John, it's so frustrating. Like my employees, they don't hold themselves accountable. Like they don't work nearly as hard as me, like blah, blah, blah. I'm like, why would they? Why would they work as hard as you? You're getting all the benefit of the wins. You're paying them an hourly rate. So like you have to create the systems to keep them accountable. There's going to be reasons and benefits and rewards. So I love that. Clay, we're going to move on to customer wow systems because I think that's an important topic. But before we do, wrap this up for us. What do you want to share around what we just heard from these two amazing individuals?
Well, the thing is, JLD, I grew up in a home where poverty was normal. And if you're listening to this show, hello, I'm talking to you, okay? If you're listening to this show, I mean, I grew up, my dad was delivering pizzas for Domino's. My father was working at a gas station, a Quick Trip, and may my father rest in peace. But he did the best he could, JLD, to put food on our table, but he did not know how to get unstuck. He didn't know. He didn't know the path of entrepreneurship. And so Charles and Amber, they reached out with a coachable spirit and they said, look, we're not looking for fitness tips. We're not looking for industry tips on fitness. What we're looking for is how to scale our company. So I would say pro tip number one, I would rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10 if you're listening to the show. If 10 is, man, you've got leads coming in all day and you say, woo, to quote Ric Flair, I am perpetually busy, woo, to quote Ric Flair, then that's a 10. But if 1 is, we don't ever get leads, or we get leads primarily word of mouth if they ever happen, and you're starting to run out of leads, that's a 1. And you want to rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10. And then the branding. Scale of 1 to 10. If 10 is the best website ever and 1 is terrible, rate yourself, because colawfitness.com, as a mechanical, functional, technical, objective review, it generates leads. So the purpose of a muffler is to do what? The purpose of a car is to do what? The purpose of a steering wheel is to do what? The purpose of a website for their business is to generate leads. And it's doing it. So if a 10 is colawfitness.com and a 1 is a website where it looks great, but it doesn't generate leads, rate your website on a scale of 1 to 10, because with our coaching, with our one-on-one coaching, which I shamelessly charge $1,700 a month for every month with clients who by the way, my average client is with us for over 6 years. I repeat, my average client is with me for over 6 years. It's not about acquiring education. It's about implementation. And so what we had to do was guide the Colaw family, the Colaw team, into implementing, and they have diligently implemented everything. Now, as it relates to wowing those customers, JLD, I want people to know this. If you're listening to today's show and you're a Christian, you're a Muslim, you're Jewish, you're agnostic, you're atheist, whatever, you have to know what your purpose is, right? You have to know your purpose. Now, I happen to be a Christian. I know the Colaws are as well, but you don't have to be a Christian you have to have a bigger reason for wanting to grow your company. Stephen Covey, the best-selling author of 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, he once said, you have to start with the end in mind. And so every time that you sign up for a membership at colawfitness.com, the Colaw family, they give people a Bible. Like that's their entire reason, JLD, for being in business, is they want to give out Bibles. Now, you might be listening to this show today and you say, I don't want to give out Bibles. JLD, one of my clients, they help people drill water wells in third world countries.
Yes.
So every time that you go to their website and you pay them to buy the thing, they actually help you drill water wells in third world countries. My company, Elephant in the Room, it's a haircut chain, eitrlounge.com, eitrlounge.com. If you get your haircut at Elephant in the Room, this just in, we provide education and clothing for kids in third world countries via compassion.com. So you talk about great companies like Tom's Shoes. You buy a pair, you give a pair. They know why they're in business. You talk about companies like Warby Parker. They know why they're in business. You talk about Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs, his whole goal was to create a user experience that would blow your mind. So if you're listening to today's show, you have to know why you're in business and then how to create those wow moments. And I'll go to Amber Colaw on this, but at colawfitness.com, we've been very intentional about making checklists. You want to write this down, folks, a checklist for the following areas. What is the sights, the sounds, the smells? What are the sights, sounds, smells, and experiences that you want your customer to have? Let's try that again. What are your sights, sounds, smells, and experiences you want your customer to have, whether it's online or offline. And Amber, you guys have a checklist for everything because you want that consistency to be next level, Chick-fil-A level, Starbucks level, despite the fact that your businesses are in the Midwest and you guys are located in Florida. Amber, could you talk about the importance of checklists?
Yeah, again, the checklists are the basis for accountability. And we couldn't do what we do working on the business if the person in the business wasn't following the checklist. So our sights and sounds and smells and that experience wouldn't be the same from one Colaw Fitness to the next if they weren't following that checklist. So, for instance, you've got a general manager who's on site, it's part of their checklist and a certain time of each month or a certain time of the week that they go around and they have to check our scent diffusers to make sure those are working properly. They've got the correct scent in it. There's a checklist that the correct scent itself is ordered. So every time you walk into a Colaw Fitness, it's the same smell. That the right music is playing, that the front desk is greeting appropriately. I mean, that's part of their coaching and training and checklist to make sure that those experiences are top notch.
Yes, absolutely. I'm going to add just a little bit to that. But with 5 senses, we got to meet or beat our competition. So most of the time it's a 5-mile radius. We want to make sure that every location, we know where our competition does, and the sight, sound, smells, taste, and touch are better for the customer. So customer service has got to be equal or better. Quality of the product has to be equal or better, and the price point has to be equal or better. And it's a no-brainer offer. Clay's been really good at helping us build those checklists and systems. We make sure that we role play that at the front with scripts. So like a lot of times you hire people and they're not really great. They're these young people that are working the front desk. And so you want to script it, you want to role play it and make sure that they understand how to do the sales, how to do fulfillment, continuous training. You're doing that every week. So you're role playing that. People are good until they're not. And so you want to make sure that it's a culture of accountability. There's continuous training happening on site, and all of it's complete mind freedom. And yeah, and we also like to do this. It's like huge public praise. We like to like when somebody does something, we're like, yeah, ooh, all right. We want to make everybody to like their job, because people work for people, not just for companies. So you want to make sure that you're working with people that really want to do that job. They like their leader. So we try to really build great leaders. Operational excellence is really how you wow people, like the Chick-fil-A, since Planet Fitness is kind of like the McDonald's of gyms. Colaw Fitness is the Chick-fil-A. So we just really have to work on operational excellence and building great leaders. And Clay has done a great job helping us.
That just goes to the wow systems, Fire Nation. I mean, you need to be implementing systems that create a customer wow that can actually drive referrals and consistent growth for you right now. I mean, what would that wow experience look like in your business, Fire Nation? How can you build it into every single touch point? And Clay, I want to now talk about measuring what you treasure. I mean, I've always loved this phrase. We talk about it a lot. Measure what you treasure. How does tracking the right metrics, not the wrong ones, the right metrics unlock predictability and help entrepreneurs hit their financial goals with confidence?
Folks, Chet Holmes, may he rest in peace, the best-selling author of The Ultimate Sales Machine. It's a red cover book, The Ultimate Sales Machine. This guy worked directly with Charlie Munger. You say, who's Charlie Munger? Warren Buffett. This is Warren Buffett's partner, Charlie Munger. So Chet Holmes is working directly in that world of Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger. He once said, I'm giving you a quote from his book, Ultimate Sales Machine. He says, the missing ingredient for nearly all of the 1,000 plus clients that I've worked with directly to improve their business is pig-headed discipline and determination, or PhD. You want a PhD? Pig-headed discipline. Everybody! Discipline. This is what happens is we get all excited at workshops. We get fired up about business building gurus. We love podcasts. We get the books. We got the new Gary Vaynerchuk book. We read JLD's book. We read my book. We read Tony Robbins. We read it all. And now we go to our office and the people are not following the script. They're not following the system. They won't call the leads. They won't show up on time. What is wrong with these people? And you start to go, what happened to the self-help book? You start to go, maybe I'm a terrible manager. What happens is if you're not tracking, you're slacking. Let me try again. Any area where you're not tracking, you're slacking. You have to measure what you treasure. So in my office today, it's a true story. We have a young lady on my team today. This is a beautiful story. I always tell people my favorite ability is dependability. And every day this woman faithfully comes to work and she shows up on time, and JLD, she knocks out her checklists. She does all of her homework. And you say, what kind of homework does she do? She does search engine optimization for our clients. She does video edits for our clients. She typesets the books for our clients. She does a great job. And so JLD, because I track the results on a daily basis, I said to her without any passive aggressiveness, without any fake compliments, 100% real, I said, you are doing an exceptional job. And because of that, we want to reward you financially. And nobody around the office had any disagreement with it, JLD. People were so excited for her because she's been putting in the work. But most organizations, they don't track anything. So you don't know who's doing a good job and who's doing a bad job. You know, who's deserving of that promotion we gave today? Who's deserving of that raise today? Who is getting it done? Who's not getting it done? Most companies don't keep score. So if you're out there today and imagine you're watching an NBA game or an NFL game or a Major League Baseball game. Imagine that they quit keeping score.
Ooh.
Like, how fun would that be if you didn't know who's winning, who's losing? So if you're watching this show today or listening to today's show, you're taking notes. What I want you to do is I want you to write down the following phrase. It's key performance indicators. You hear a lot of business jargon. People say KPI, but key performance indicator. Or if you like to call it, what I like to call it, JLD, I call it CRAP. Core, repeatable, actionable processes. It's the crap, right? The crap. Core, repeatable, actionable processes. So for everything in your business that you expect to be done, you have to schedule a daily follow-up on the crap. Anything that you want to be done, you have to work off the assumption that it was not done, and then you have to follow up with relentless enthusiasm. So every single day, anything you want to be done, you've got to schedule some sort of system where either you as the owner or a manager follows up. And what you want to do is you want to follow up until the action items blow up, until your business begins to succeed, right? So you have to have that in place. But JLD, so many people were so busy chasing new ideas and big visions that we don't often take the time needed to measure what we treasure. And therefore we begin to slack or we don't track.
All right, Charles, I could hear you getting fired up, and I'm going to move to you next, Amber. So listen, with everything that Clay was just talking about, the measuring what you treasure, what specifically does your mind go to first that you can share with Fire Nation?
First thing is Clay's really made us kind of know our numbers and what our break even is. So we know what our daily targets for sales, weekly targets, and monthly. So we know what our targets are for break even. We're always trying to stay in that I call the next term, I call it bankable rate. We always want to stay within a 20 to 40% profit margin for all of our locations or any of the services that we're offering. That way we're always bankable. And Clay has used and taught us the pig and hog analogy. You want to be a pig, but not a hog. Pig is where you get fed. So 20 to 40% good profit margins is competitive and healthy, and the bank likes it, you like it, you grow. But hog is where you get way a lot of margin. A lot of times it's the competitive environment sees a lot of opportunity there, and some of your people will turn into your competition. So be careful with that. So bankable rate, 20 to 40%, we hit that. And then tracking everything has to be tracked. So we have Google Docs and Sheets, and we also have our club software. And so Clay's been really good at helping us build Google Docs, Google Sheets, really making sure that we're tracking revenue per member, cost to acquire the member, the net promoter score, making sure that we're keeping our fulfillment, our quality of fulfillment high, making sure that we have definitely the most and highest Google reviewed gym in our areas. And basically, anytime we're failing, we just double down on tons of Google reviews of real people getting real results, real testimonials, and just funnel that great testimonial, great before and after photo, all that right back into the marketing. And we just constantly keep that funnel going, and then just stand on operational excellence, KPIs, and just funneling good people getting results back into the marketing.
Love that on every level. Amber, what came up for you?
Pig-headed discipline. I mean, that's really what it's been for us. It's been the first lesson Clay really pushed on us was being consistent. We just have to be consistent and quit chasing those new ideas. And we have found that the more consistent we are, when you can create systems that you can, I don't know if there's a true set it and forget it, because you have to follow up with that accountability. But the systems that we run today are the same systems we were running 8 years ago when we first created those systems with Clay. There's no need to reinvent the wheel. We don't need new ideas. Now, you do have to change with the industry. You have to change with the market, right? You have to adapt, and recreate some things. But typically, you just have to have the pig-headed discipline, not just for you, but to continue to keep your staff on track with the pig-headed discipline to just, do the crap. Yeah. They don't like it. And a lot of people don't like it. A lot of people, they want to have new ideas. It feels creative for them. They feel smart, and so it's hard sometimes when you're coaching that staff because they want to share these great ideas of ways we can change things. And so we give them the freedom to do that, to share their ideas. But one of the other things we teach them is then we begin to talk through in a group setting with some of our managers, typically about twice a year. We do this kind of workshop with them where they get to experience what it feels like to be at the round table and what it feels like to mastermind something. And they bring these things to the table and they've got all these great new ideas of new ways we can do things. But as we begin to talk it out and flesh it out as a group, and we can highlight areas of why we haven't done it that way, it actually teaches them and teaches them why we're doing it the way we're doing it, why we don't want to change it, and why that pig-headed discipline, that consistency has been and will continue to be one of the most important things for Colaw Fitness.
Absolutely. Those core, repeatable, actionable processes, the core, repeatable, actionable processes. A lot of times people that have ideas, they're not following the systems. And so when Clay's proven systems, he's done it with every industry. He's helped us a ton. And so this making sure that people follow the system. If they follow the system, we have the leads, we have the systems as far as in staffing, coaching, who does what, when, and how is clearly defined. We have continuous training. We have weekly interviews and we have tons of people in the bullpen for each position. So we're never held hostage by a rogue employee, and all of our leaders that run the clubs, they're not held hostage by rogue employees. And Clay has literally built so many beautiful systems that it's allowed us to have time freedom and financial freedom. Living in Florida, our clubs are in the Midwest, Oklahoma, Texas, Missouri, and Kansas. Look us up, colawfitness.com. But yeah, great stuff.
I love that. Colawfitness.com. You need to check it out, Fire Nation, for sure. And it goes back to what Amber was saying. I mean, that pig-headed discipline. I mean, for 13 years now, 4,800 plus episodes, I've had the same systems, the same processes. I have the same booking form. I have the same follow-ups. I have the same, it's literally, I tweak here, I tweak there, I adjust, I adapt, like Amber's saying. But at the end of the day, I show up every day, big pig-headed discipline, and I just produce. Clay, I want you to take us home, brother. Go for it.
Okay, well, there's a book by again. There's so many books, but that I read. But there's a book called "Made to Stick" by Dan Heath and Chip Heath, and he talks about how for your business to wow customers, you want to insert these high points or these wow moments. And so, JLD, I'm going to have my big staff Christmas party. Someone will listen to this show, and whenever you listen to it, I probably just had my party or I'm planning the next one. But every year I have it. People show up, and I've got llamas, kangaroo, alpaca, massive turtles. This is real. Monkeys, actual monkeys, a live band, unbelievable giveaways, arm wrestling competitions, 3-point competitions, haircut speed competitions, ping pong competitions, a pepper eating contest. Whoever cries last wins. I can go on and on. Big fireworks show. And people say, oh my gosh, that's amazing. But the thing is, JLD, it's super easy for me to organize every year because I have a checklist, I have the systems, I have the processes, and I just run the same play over and over and over. So it's a high point for my employees, which is exciting, but it's not a low point for me because I run the play. So if the Colaws ever said, can we steal your Christmas party and do it? I could literally give them the checklist and they could recreate those same epic moments. So what am I saying? If you're listening to today's show, and Charles, I think you've grown since I first met you. I think you're up, 5 times larger since we first met? Maybe 6?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Absolutely. I think we're probably around 2 million and we're over 8 to 10, somewhere around 8 to 10 right now this year. So yeah, it definitely helped us scale a bunch, and we got about 200 some employees, and everybody's following systems, checklists, workflows, and we're out here in Florida.
There's 207 employees over there. So JLD, these guys, long before I met them, they were training people in their home. They turned their home into a personal training gym. Their living room, people are doing squats in their living room. People are pumping it up. They're doing bicep curls in their bedroom. I mean, they turned their entire house into a personal training gym. Now they've got this massive business. What am I saying? If you're listening right now, I want you to go to thrivetimeshow.com/EOFire. And you say, why? Because I am passionate about helping everybody listening to today's show to get unstuck, unpoor, to create time freedom and financial freedom. And if you are tired of feeling stuck, I need you to take action. Someone says, I've got carpal tunnel. It's so hard to get there. My wrist hurts. Push through the pain. Go to thrivetimeshow.com/EOFire, thrivetimeshow.com/EOFire.com. And when you go there, schedule a free consultation, just like Charles and Amber Colaw did, a checkup from the neck up. It's free. It's with me. It's free. It's myself. I'll be doing it with you for 20 years, 20. For 20 years, I've been doing the same thing. We have a proven system, thousands of case studies. So call to action number 1, go to thrivetimeshow.com/EOFire. Call to action number 2, go to colawfitness.com. See if they're a real company. Look them up, colawfitness.com. See if they're if they're real people. They are. Do your research, colawfitness.com. And call to action number 3. I encourage everybody out there, call to action number 3. Go to thrivetimeshow.com and look at the testimonials. I talked to a guy today, and I'll end it right here. I talked to a guy this morning. He said, Clay, I went to thrivetimeshow.com/testimonials. I clicked the testimonials page. He said, I've been listening to a new testimonial every day.
Wow.
For 4 years. Think about that. He said, I've been listening to a new testimonial every day for 4 years. And I go, well, what has you reaching out to us? He said, well, you're doing one of your conferences in Anaheim, and I live here too. I mean, think about that.
Think about
He's
it.
listened to a new testimonial every day for 4 consecutive years. So again, don't believe me. Go to thrivetimeshow.com, click on testimonials, check it out. But JLD, I want everybody listening to this show to be on fire,
yes,
and to turn their dreams into reality.
I love it all. And Clay, I thought I heard it all, but a checkup from the neck up, that's a new one for me. I love it. I'm going to keep that in the old quiver. Clay, Charles, Amber, thank you for sharing your truth, your knowledge, your value with Fire Nation today. For that, we salute you, and we will catch you on the flip side. Hey, Fire Nation, a huge thank you to our sponsors and Clay for sponsoring today's episode. And Fire Nation, freedom isn't a dream, it's a decision. Join the Freedom Circle, my community, where clarity, systems, and support collide. Your 90-day path to time and income freedom starts at freedom-circle.com. I'll catch you there or on the flip side. Whether your company earns millions or even hundreds of millions, NetSuite helps you stay ahead of the pack. Right now, get the business guide, Demystifying AI, free at netsuite.com/fire. The guide is free to you at netsuite.com/fire. Are you ready for the ultimate all-in-one platform for entrepreneurs, marketers, coaches, and agencies? Build funnels, automate follow-ups, manage clients, and even white label your own software. Say hello to our featured partner, High Level, and visit highlevelfire.com to start your free trial today.
Is it a lonely existence? Leadership is lonely. It is, but that's fine.
Listen to me. Steven said right there, I want you to go there early. Listen to me. Go there early.
I'm not going to be afraid of confrontation to get us to where we need to go. I think there's a big misconception where people think winning or success comes from everybody putting their arms around each other and singing Kumbaya and patting them on the back when they mess up, and that's just not reality. If you're going to be a leader, you're not going to please everybody. And you got to hold people accountable, even if you have that moment of being uncomfortable.
Matter of fact, get your hands on me. Don't touch me the rest of the script. Get your hands on me.
One of our accountants had said, you've got to meet this guy, Clay. So we ended up meeting with Clay, and he's helped us go from right before we opened the 3rd location now to 6 locations. And so we've more than doubled our revenue. And these are ground up build gyms. And so it's not, the barrier for entry is pretty high. It's 20 plus staff at each location. So yeah, it's been a lot as far as running systems, checklists, workflows, who does what, when, and how, training us on that. Clay's helped a ton. We would not be where we're at without him. So huge win.
Charles, from an ROI perspective, if someone's going to look at it and go, return on investment, I pay you $1,700 a month. Will I make more money than I'm paying you? How would you maybe tackle, or how would you respond to what kind of return on investment have you seen for the $1,700 a month you're paying?
Well, for example, Clay has got, there's no better business coach in the world that has the way he works, the way his mind works, but he's also got a team of other business coaches that have worked in lots of different industries. So he's worked in every industry. His staff has worked in every industry. He's got videographers, web designers. I mean, just for the fact of like just the website alone is worth the 1,700. Just the ability to take any of their proven systems, whether that's a marketing thing or whether that's a staffing thing, like one thing done in the month it was pays for itself. And then to understand this, there's a part of where, some week you may be like, well, you know what? I'm not getting a whole lot out of this call. But the bottom line is, it's like when you read the Bible, there's times you're just reading it and then you're like, you know what? And then you read it that one time and it's like God really speaks to your heart. And the whole truth is, it's like there's no way that you can get that kind of value for $1,700 to have a whole team of coaches, graphic designers, web developers, anybody that has that type of knowledge, in your back pocket. And then and the whole thing is run your business with being somewhat conservative. Make sure you don't run it to the edge all the time. But by doing that, you have that skill set. You have those tools on your tool belt.
Yep.
And I just think it's just like the cost of doing business. Like just understand it. That's what
I think there's sometimes the payment we make, I feel like, is peace of mind, even because there have been multiple times throughout the years that we will either be butting heads on something. We're super confused about something. We're fearful about something in the market's changed, and it's a quick call to Clay.
Well, Thrive Nation, it's a very special occasion because a lot of times on the Thrivetime show, I get to interview people that I am friendly with or have an acquaintance with, that kind of thing. And I enjoy that. But it's really an honor whenever I get to interview someone who I consider to be a friend or people that I consider to be friends of our family. And it's awesome when we can celebrate a success story because it's a life-giving thing. And for somebody watching today's show, if you feel you need like a checkup from the neck up, if you feel stuck, if you feel like you don't have the resources to get started, but you have the resourcefulness, maybe today's show is the show you need to hear because this is a couple. They started this business together out of their house, and they've now grown it into a multi-million-dollar, super successful company. And I've had the opportunity to work with them in a consulting or coaching capacity over these past 5 or 6 years, and I am so excited to have them on today's show. And with that being said, Amber and Charles Colaw, welcome on to the Thrivetime show. Amber, how are you?
Great. Thanks, Clay. It's awesome to be on here with you.
Yes, we are excited.
Okay, so I got to ask this real quick because people think you're a hologram. How long have we had the opportunity to work with you, or how long have we worked with you guys together from a kind of a coaching relationship?
We probably started back in 2017. 2017. Yep.
So we're looking at 7-8 years.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
coming up on 8, probably. It's a little over 7.
And from that time, I mean, you guys have experienced tremendous personal growth and business growth. I mean, could you, Charles, maybe talk about, I'm not looking for your specific financials, but could you maybe talk about maybe the size you guys have grown over these past 7 or 8 years at colawfitness.com?
Absolutely. Yeah. We started off, we were getting ready to open our 3rd location, and one of our accountants had said, you've got to meet this guy, Clay. So we ended up meeting with Clay, and he's helped us go from right before we opened the 3rd location now to 6 locations. And so we've more than doubled our revenue. And these are ground up build gyms. And so it's not, the barrier for entry is pretty high. It's 20 plus staff at each location. So yeah, it's been a lot as far as running systems, checklists, workflows, who does what, when, and how, training us on that. Clay's helped a ton. We would not be where we're at without him. So huge win.
Now, I'm going to ask you guys this story because I want you to be able to encourage somebody. I'm not sure who's going to watch this show, but I view every show as kind of a message in a bottle. So somebody's watching this show and they're going to relate to this story. And I'm going to let Amber go first because I think she'll maybe have a less rosy view of how it was. But you guys started colawfitness.com doing personal training to individual clients in your actual home. So like your living room was where the squat rack was, or the bench press was in the kitchen, or Amber, what was that like when you started colawfitness.com?
Well, I think when you're starting something like that, you don't see bigger picture. You're not thinking that far ahead. You're just kind of thinking you have to work, you have to survive, you've got to make money, you're doing what you love. And so with that, it was kind of more as a survival. And also, we couldn't afford furniture to go in our formal living room and formal dining room. Yes. And so we were kind of stuck in a situation where Charles needed a place to train and he had a full clientele. And so we just were, well, why don't we find like a big universal piece stick it in the living room because it's just an empty room. And the dining room became more of the office. And so we bought a big universal piece and threw down some rubber flooring, ripped up the carpet, and put some big mirrors on the wall. And we just started doing what we needed to do at the time with I definitely did not think it was going to be in my house for a couple of years for sure. But
Yeah, a lot of it was fear of failure. I was like, I want to make sure that, I can provide for my family. And we were trying to every lead I had, I'd follow up with every client I trained, want to make sure that I gave them good results. And next thing you know, we have about 160 clients coming in and out of the door a week. And it's me and about 4 or 5 other trainers training out of our living room. And so it became a revolving door of fitness. And then Amber also did some hair. So she had a hair salon in the back of the house. So it's like a training studio in the front of the house and then a hair salon in the back of the house. So yeah.
Now,
the win.
Now, I want to share this story because I don't know if I've ever shared this story with you, but I think our listeners need to hear this because your story is better than mine. But let me just show this to the listeners real quick here. If we go to 111th and Memorial in Tulsa, Oklahoma, my wife and I, we were 20 years old-ish, and I remember I was so excited to be able to build our house. I remember telling my wife, honey, we can afford to build a house. We are going to build a house, a brand new house. She was so excited. I remember we were driving down Riverside. She was like, we're going to buy a house? And I go, yeah. She's like, we're going to build a house? I'm going, yeah, because we're young couple. We'd just been married a couple years. Right here at 111th and Memorial, I found a builder named Rob Brewer who did a phenomenal job. I would hire him again. And this is a true story. So I built this house from scratch. And so my neighbor comes by, Wendy, God bless her. I'm not going to mention her last name. Wendy comes by and she's like, hey, what are you doing? I go, what do you mean? Because I'm having like 40 couples a week that are walking up to my front door, hanging a right at my office. And there's probably 8 DJ vans in my backyard. And she's like, what are you doing? And I'm going, well, what do you mean what I do? She's like, this is a residential neighborhood. What are you doing? And I said, well, I'm running a business. She said, you can't run a business here. So I had back here in the backyard, no kidding, I had 8 different vans back there. And then neighbors kept asking me if I was running drugs. I mean, people were concerned because the first DJ would come to load up gear at 4 in the morning, and our last guy would come home at 3 in the morning. And it was just a wild thing. So I got to ask you with the gym, Amber, how early were people coming to work out, to do squats and bench press and cardio? What time were they showing up? How many people were showing up?
Oh, yeah. So Charles he's relentless and he'll fill any hour he can. And so he would start as early as 5 a.m. with his first client. And, sometimes it would last until about 10 o'clock at night. And so it was just a revolving door. And we always blocked out the middle of the afternoon at 2 o'clock every afternoon. And him and I, as we added staff, we would all work out together. So it became this big, workout session together. It was awesome.
And this is a real thing. Now, Amber, I'm not looking for anything super salacious, but I mean, did you ever have awkward situations? I mean, because you're sleeping there, you're living there. Do you guys ever have just like, I remember with the DJ business, my wife about once a week there for a while, she would come downstairs and one of my DJs would get, Clay, where's the bathroom? I'd say, right there. And they would walk into our master bedroom and I'm like, get out of there. That's my bedroom, you sicko. I mean, did you ever have just weird client interactions?
Oh, yeah. Totally. Our kitchen became like the staff break room. And so all of a sudden I've got everybody's lunches in my fridge. And I remember one day a guy had went to get the barbecue sauce out of the fridge and just drops it. And it just shatters all over the kitchen floor. But his client was here. So he looks at me kind of like, and I was like, just go. I got so I'm cleaning up barbecue sauce out of the kitchen. One morning I had gotten out of the shower and I come out of the bathroom, which is at the top of the stairs. And I'm just making that short little jag over to my bedroom door. And so I have my hair in a towel and a robe on, and I open the door, and right there at the bottom of the stairs, Charles has one of the clients doing calf raises. And they just, good morning. And I thought, get this out of my house. So
Yeah.
The trainers napping on the couch between clients. And our middle son was in pre-K at the time. And so he'd come home half the day and he'd sit on the couch. He was just so little, his feet would just stick straight off the couch. And he'd try and watch cartoons. and there would be someone on like a ab mat on the floor right in front of the TV doing crunches.
That's right.
And so he's just watching his little cartoons as someone's doing crunches in front of him. And so, oh yeah, the whole family was in on it.
I just remember when I was building DJConnection.com, I would train my DJs out of my house. So we would practice announcements like, ladies and gentlemen, coming up in just a moment, we're going to introduce the bride and the groom. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, get ready for the intro. And we would practice, ladies and gentlemen, coming up next, we're going to be cutting the cake. Once again, we got the bride, we got the groom, we got a knife. It should be exciting. And I'm practicing, and they have a script, and I'm practicing. So adult males are in my house, and we're practicing introducing, because, we grew DJ Connection to do 4,000 weddings a year. So I'm training 30 disc jockeys every week. So Havana, my oldest, who's now 20, she starts running around in the office going, ladies and gentlemen, coming up next, the cutting of the cake, because she had heard it so much. She's like, ladies and gentlemen, coming up next, the Soul Train line. She knew, because it was like, and I don't think if you're watching today's show and these stories, you can't relate to it. That's okay. But I'm just trying to make sure we're getting this idea. This is a real couple that I would now classify as a super success story, but they had to start somewhere. And it's not about resourcefulness. It's not about resources. It's about resourcefulness. Again, it's not about resources. It's about resourcefulness. Look at the backyard. I turned half my backyard into a concrete slab so that we could park all the vans back here. I mean, look at all the trees I planted to block the view. So now you look at Colaw Fitness and you go, wow, this is a super successful company. Wow, I want to be the next Colaw Fitness. Wow, these guys are really doing it. I want to be a colawfitness.com. I'll get the website to pull up in just a second. And people always come to me and they say, Clay, what do I need to do? What's the most important thing? I just had a guy today, huge ministry, multi-million-dollar, massive ministry, called me and said, what's the one thing I can do to grow my ministry? And I said, buddy, I'm going to send you today's show. There are 14 things that we need to do, and a lot of details on those 14. So we're going to go step by step on today's show. I'll go back and forth between Charles and Amber, and for sake of time, we'll just go back and forth rapid fire. So here we go. And Charles, by the way, you get 60 seconds on the clock for each answer. So here we go. Box number one, you have to figure out your revenue goals. You just have to know your revenue goals. You have to know your revenue goals. What are your gross revenue goals? What are your weekly revenue goals? What are your annual revenue goals? You have to know your revenue goals. Charles, why do you have to know your revenue goals?
Yes, you have to know your revenue goals so you know if you're going to be making money or not. And for us, we want to make sure that we're staying bankable, that we can open more locations. Our gyms are a ministry for us. We want to make sure that we continue to expand and making sure we got at least a 20% profit margin off of all of our expenses to income over expenses. And we know how many memberships we have to sell. We know how many clients that we have to service to hit those goals for our set overhead costs. And so you got to know how many units of items you have to sell every week, every day. And so we track that stuff. And for us, we have
Natalie?
A lot of it's recurring revenue. But the whole point is we want to make sure that we have enough of the payable, viable buyers in the system to continue to grow.
And you track this stuff. And so, we've got wonderful members of our team. We've got a young member of our team named Natalie who's learning all of this because she's, developing into a coach. And when you work with a new client, a lot of times the client's going to have a bias to focus on just marketing, just branding, but you have to know these numbers. Amber, anything else you want to talk about as far as the numbers? Because I know your husband is passionate about fitness and you are as well, but why do you have to focus on the numbers and not just marketing or not just branding or not just social media? Why do you have to focus on those numbers?
Well, I think the numbers, it's like the steering wheel that steers the ship. I mean, if you don't understand the numbers, you have no idea where you're going. So I think that's probably the biggest thing. Like it leads the whole way. And I think a lot of people tend to do, I want to do the marketing, or I just want to perform the service. I think a lot of it because people are scared of numbers. I think they feel like numbers are overwhelming and they try to make numbers way too difficult. So I think that's the biggest.
This is such wisdom, folks. I'm telling you, if you're not familiar with colawfitness.com, go to their website. These guys give away a Bible. Every time they sell a new membership, they set aside a portion of the funds to give away a Bible to first-time members at their gym. It's it's a ministry, it's a business. It checks all those boxes. Let's move on to box number 3. Define the number of hours you're willing to work. Now, Amber, you happen to be married to a man who's willing to work every hour of the day if need be. I will say this, though. Most of my clients, if I had to think about my 160 clients I work with, and I had to think about the average client, 90% of them are not willing to work as hard as you guys. Most of my clients are willing to work 40 hours a week or 50 hours a week. Some will work 60 hours a week, but nobody is willing to go sprint from 4 a.m. to 8 p.m., 10 p.m. every day if need be. Your husband is willing to do that. Why is it important for you guys, Charles, to define the hours that you're going to work, the hours that you're not going to work, block out time for the family cruise, for the family trip? Why is that an important box there, Charles?
Yeah.
That way, my wife will stay married to me. And well, I'm like you. I like to just go, and then we take off and we go to church on Sunday. It's important for us for us to hold the Sunday as a Sabbath, as a day off. Other than that, I like to work. I like you talked about vacation, to vacate or to leave something. I love to work. I love to build the systems and build the documents and train staff, build the systems and so on. But we do have to make sure that once a quarter we try to look at taking time off. Go ahead.
Right. Well, I would say the biggest thing that we always talk about in marriage, family, and work, expectations and boundaries. Those two things have to be very clear all the time. So as long as he understands what my expectations are and I need him to fulfill a husband role in addition to working, as long as he understands that these are my expectations and then these are my boundaries. And as long as we communicate that, then we're good.
I'll say one more thing is that for us, we've kind of at the spot to where, we just work on the business, not in the business. So we don't actually do the day-to-day stuff, but we work on the business systems, checklists, workflows, training, coaching people remotely because we do live in Florida. Our clubs are in the Midwest, Oklahoma, Texas, Missouri, and Kansas. And so running remotely and running all that stuff, we've got to kind of say, how do we want to live our lives? Like you'd say, Charles, how do you really want to live it? You got to kind of map out and clearly define that. For us, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, those days are just all in on Zoom calls, training, coaching, working with staff. And so those days are really, really full days. And then the rest of the time, like on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, those are all lighter days that we don't block in a lot of meetings. It's like no meetings that we plan, but I'm still working on things that I want to work on, but I'm not leveraged to having to. So I've kind of created my 3-day work week that's like super long, and then the rest of the time I don't have meetings, I don't get held hostage on a lot of stuff, and people have to kind of have a gatekeeper to get to me. But other than that, that's how I've tried to map that out so that I can continue to mastermind and kind of grow the brand and have some meta perspective on how I want to continue to grow. So there's
so much. Again, for folks, if you want to learn entrepreneurship, this is real people. If you're in the Florida area and you're looking for a job, if you're in the Joplin, Missouri area and you're looking for a career, not just a job, Colaw Fitness is a company that's going places. I'm not prophetic. I'm not claiming to have some view of the future. I just see patterns. And I work with clients and I help them implement patterns that work. And I also know of the clients that'll work. Nothing works unless you work, right? So nothing will work unless you work. And I look at the Colaw family and I look at the fuel that you put into the business and the diligence that you bring. And I'm telling you, folks, this is a brand that's going somewhere. If you're looking for a career, check it out, colawfitness.com. Box number 4 and 5, these kind of fit in together. Box number 4 is you have to determine your unique value proposition. That's a unique thing. What is it that makes you unique? What is it that separates you from the competition? If you're watching today's show, let's think about your website, your print piece, your auto wraps, your business cards. Let's think about everything about your business. Let's think about the sights, the sounds, the smell, the ambiance, the employees you have. What is it that makes you different from the competition? What is it that makes Chick-fil-A successful when there are many other fast food chicken restaurants? What is it that makes Quick Trip super successful when there are so many gross, nasty, dirty convenience stores? What is it that makes Chick-fil-A successful? What is it that makes Quick Trip successful? What is the secret sauce that allows Brad Stevens, the coach of the Boston Celtics, to bring out a winning lineup year after year? Brad Stevens took a dysfunctional Butler College basketball team and turned them into a top 4 basketball team. Think about this. He took a college called Butler, the size of Oral Roberts University, and took them to the Final Four multiple times. And then he takes that same recipe and goes to the NBA, and they win a championship, and he's putting out a winner year after year. What is the secret sauce that allowed Phil Jackson to win year after year? Michael Jordan couldn't win a championship championship without Phil Jackson? He played a lot of seasons without Phil Jackson. He only won his championships with Phil. Kobe Bryant never won a championship without Phil Jackson. By the way, Kobe Bryant played a lot of seasons without Phil Jackson. What is that magic formula? A big part of it is you have to understand your unique value proposition. So, Amber, what is it that makes Colaw Fitness unique versus other, fitness companies?
Oh, for us, it's culture, hands down. It's culture all day long. And we worked really hard at our first location to set the culture and make it what we wanted it to be. We wanted a fitness center that everybody could come be a part of. And I mean, not everybody likes it. But it's definitely our culture. And that was something we knew we had to be able to duplicate when opening other locations. And so that is probably the number one piece that we train, develop, encourage, that we're the biggest part of the company that we are still a part of is the culture part.
Yep. And that's the big part. I'm going to just kind of jump off a little bit more. We're unapologetic in our Christian component to that. Think if Planet Fitness is the McDonald's of gyms, Colaw Fitness is the Chick-fil-A. And what I mean by that is we are a strong Christian culture. We hire and we look for people that match that. They don't have to be a Christian, but they do have to align with those values. All of Christianity summed up in one word is the word agape. That's an unconditional love. We want to make sure that we actually hire people that are into customer service, that likes people.
Serving.
Who'd have thought customer service? We're going to find people that actually like to serve people. And so we really vet that pretty heavily on the front side, on the onboarding, with our, like our Christian culture. We play a video, we talk about who we are, we talk about the Christian values, devotion to God, discipline in living, denial of self, dream great dreams for God's glory, determination to stay this course. So the Christian side of it is kind of strong. So either people lean in or lean back. And so when we do group interviews, this is where you've taught us a lot of great systems. You see people lean in and see people lean back. So when everybody's on the boat rowing in the same direction and they really match that value set, the culture is just better. And when you hire people that actually like people, they want to acknowledge your presence, close the gap, give them a fist bump, a high five, make somebody feel like the highlight of the day when they walk through that door. So we train people on those systems. So we took the culture that we did when we first opened the club, and we defined it into actual ways that we can role play and script it with our staff, so that you have not a purple hair, McDonald's, perpetually distracted, crayon mark tattoo person. You have a person opposed to like a McDonald's, somebody that runs up to your car like a Chick-fil-A, that's you got their polo on and says, "My pleasure." So that's where we have to be very, very, very specific on how we do culture differently than the competition who's just, scaling out like crazy. But people, like, the greatest currency in life is how you make somebody else feel. We want to make other people feel like the highlight of the day, and hire people that are sincere. They're just genuine, that truly like people. If you do that well, you have to lock the doors to keep people out.
Mm-hmm. I'm telling you, folks, this is so important. I talked to a guy the other day who applied to work for your business, true story. And he's kind of a gremlin. I know him because he didn't get hired by a friend of mine. And so a friend of mine's like, "Hey, I didn't hire this guy. He's kind of a gremlin." I said, "What do you mean gremlin?" He's like, "Yeah, he's just kind of a curmudgeon, kind of a negative guy, Debbie Downer. And, he's got a big background in fitness, though. And he's into fitness, and he played at, sports at a high level, and he'd love to come work for you, Clay." And I go, "Okay." And he's like, "Yeah, I guess he applied for the Colaw guys a couple years ago, didn't get the job." And I'm going, interesting. And I knew that and I met the guy, I'm like, this guy, I understand why you didn't hire him, and I didn't hire him either. And I'm just telling you, you have certain standards. And if people aren't up to those standards, they can come back and reapply later after they turn that frown upside down. But you have a certain standard there. Now, box number 6, the three-legged marketing stool. At Colaw Fitness, with every business we work with, every business that I work with, what we do is we develop a three-legged marketing stool. Now, I'll give you a moment, Charles and Amber, to reflect on this, and maybe this is true for you, maybe not. But a lot of my clients that come into my life, I think about Stacy Purcell, longtime client, great lady. I think about Shaw Homes, shawhomes.com. We helped Shaw Homes grow from $14 million a year to $150 million a year. I think about satellite phones. Tina, her company Sat123. We've helped them grow to $100 million a year of sales. I think about OxyFresh, oxifresh.com. We've helped them grow now to 500 plus locations. And every single time I sit down with a business owner, they have not a three-legged marketing stool. No. They have a variety of things that might work. And through tracking, we start to figure out what doesn't work. And so with Stacy Purcell, with her wonderful business, we found out that LinkedIn didn't work 100% of the time, thus saving her $8,000 a month by turning it off. I just had a client this week, true story. We found he was spending $4,000 a week on YouTube ads, Instagram ads, and TikTok ads. Got a lot of clicks, got a lot of views, no leads. Another client, I'm just a stream of consciousness. Another client of mine, they were doing mailers, getting zero response. Another client of mine was doing billboards to the tune of $6,000 a month between all their locations. And as you look at the different businesses and you track, you can really, really become much more profitable by nailing down a three-legged marketing stool. Could you talk about that, Amber? Maybe the impact it's had or hasn't had, tracking the results, getting rid of what doesn't work and focusing on what does work?
Yeah, well, I would say none of that is my part of the business, and I'm so thankful. I hate marketing, but what I would say to that is that has everything to do with, like we were talking about, your numbers and the tracking. So you're talking about tracking these things. That's my side, the financial side, and I want to know that when the money's going out, that return is coming back, right? And so I do that side of it we talk about a marketing budget and watching that and holding true to that and watching those numbers and watching, the revenue that comes back from that marketing. So you may be able to talk more on the marketing. That's your.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, we've tracked where they come from. Sometimes you do get clicks, or you do have, like, sometimes Facebook shows you're making, but it's really not getting people to walk through the door and convert people into members and convert people into higher ticket items. And so you really want to make sure that what you're spending money on is actually quantifying out into dollars. And so Clay's really been good with us to track that. We've done that for years. And so we can really kind of see in our industry, we market, in a 5-mile radius, really heavy. That's kind of our ideal and likely buyers within that 5-mile radius or a 12-minute drive time. We target those. We see what marketing works best. And a lot of times it's the same proven stuff that Clay teaches with a lot of his clients, is really seeing to making sure that you're dominating on certain platforms. And I can go into that. But the whole point is Clay has done it in every industry. And when we follow the system, track it correctly, we can monetize our marketing dollars a whole lot better. And so there's ways you want to get in front of your ideal and likely buyer. We make sure we got the right product offering in front of the right ideal and likely buyer. And the things that Clay's been doing with his clients over the last 7 years with us, it doesn't change much. There's a few little things that adjust, but it's a proven system, and that's what works. And we've done that. We've gone from 3 locations to 6, and we've more than doubled our revenue.
Right.
So it's been a huge win.
Well, I think sometimes people want to market in a certain way because that's the cool thing to do. Like, I want to be on TikTok.
Right.
If TikTok doesn't pay me, if it's not paying my bills, I could care less.
Yeah.
I mean, I can watch TikTok on my off time, but I'm not going to put my marketing dollars into it just because that's what everybody else is doing. And I think another part of that is everybody has marketing advice for you. Everybody thinks they're some marketing guru, because they see ads. And I don't think that's true either.
Now, I'm going to ask you this, Charles, and I'm not ready for your answer yet. I got to mentally prepare myself for this, but you do not have the ability to not be honest here. Okay. So a guy called me here today, and I thought, man, I'm going to send this to him right away. Okay. Guy reaches out to me. He's in the construction space. Okay. And he goes, this happens every day, by the way, but he says, what would a relationship look like if I hired you guys as my coach? If I hired you, Clay, and your team, what does that look like? And I said, well, we charge you $1,700 a month. So it's less money than hiring a minimum wage employee. That's what it is. We have a weekly meeting, and we follow a proven system. And anyway, and I said, there's accountability. There's kind of 3 parts to it. One is we have a team that helps you get your photography, your video, your web, your search engine done for you, all those things. The second is we provide coaching down a proven path. And then the third is we have workshops every couple months so you can kind of get a tune-up. And I said, Mr. Client, Mr. Potential Client, who I've known forever, I said, Clay Stairs describes me as the ass man. And he's like, the ass man? Ooh. And I said, yeah, Clay Stairs, longtime client of mine. He's been a client of mine for like 15 years. He literally tells people that I'm his ass man. And they go, what? Right. He goes, Clay has helped me grow my company, claystairs.com. He's helped me get into political office. But he kind of, is like an irritant who follows up on the same things every week until they get done. So I wanted to ask you, Charles, how would you describe what the coaching relationship looks like for somebody out there that's saying, what is it like to work with, specifically me and my team?
Well, to shoot you straight, I mean, Clay's highest desire isn't always your comfort in that coaching. His highest desire is your continued development, that you do hit your goals for financial. And a good coach, think of a good coach. A good coach tells you what you need to hear, because he doesn't just care about the comfort in the room or the comfort of the conversation. He cares about your character development, your personal development, to becoming the better leader. And if you want to run a great company, you have to be a great leader. You have to be the avatar. You have to be the great person. And Clay has really pushed that in me. And for me, like I thought I've always needed that. And I was just like, okay, Charles, stay humble, stay coachable. And that's the biggest thing is most business owners, they don't have the ability to keep a humble, coachable heart and be willing to grow. When you work with somebody that has a proven system, they've worked in every industry, they've got a team of videographers, graphic designers, web developers, people that will help you build the back end of your business correctly, the proven systems of continuous hiring, of staff team, like group hiring, that you always have staff ready to go. If somebody in the bullpen, so I'll take it. You always have continuous training staff. You're never held hostage because there's somebody that doesn't know a skill set. You can always replace somebody. Because if you don't create a system, you're going to be a limited resource. And Clay creates the systems, helps you with document creation, file organization, and make sure you got that stuff so you have a proven template. It's really more like a franchisable prototype that you can handle the lowest skill set. So great people are great, but Clay's been really good at shooting me straight. If you have a humble, coachable heart and you're willing to grow, and you take 2 or 3 action items every week, next thing you know, 50 weeks, 52 weeks in the year, you've got a bunch of systems. You got a way better website. You got checklist workflows. You got staff following systems. You got backup for each position. Because if you don't have people in the bullpen, you're going to be held hostage. And so you want to make sure that you got the right systems, checklist, and personnel ready to go. And to run 6 different businesses in 4 different states, from Florida in the Midwest, so we don't live there, we have to have good systems, checklists, workflows, and so on, and making sure people are holding to that. Clay's been really great for helping set up those systems. So yeah, but it's to be honest, it's not always, the conversations are definitely sometimes challenging, but understanding that both parties, me as the client, him as the coach, is really trying to have the highest desire to make you grow into a better person, and to help your company grow and be better. And for me, that's a good coach. And that's why I like working with Thrive and Clay. So yeah.
Amber, I wanted to tap into your wisdom on this. There was a statement that was made years ago by Robert Kiyosaki, and it really resonated with me. I heard this about 20 years ago, but he said, amateurs don't have a coach. Professionals do have a coach. And at the time I thought, you know what, from a legal perspective, I probably need a coach or mentor to help me. So I hired wintersking.com, and I've used that company for 10 plus years. It's really helped me. I thought to myself, from an accounting perspective, I need probably to have a coach. So I hired CCK. And so in the areas where I want to improve, I really do firmly believe in having a coach. When I wanted to become a better speaker, I hired Carlton Pearson, and I worked with Carlton for as long as he would work with me, because at the time he was the top televangelist in America, and he was a phenomenal verbal communicator. And so, but it wouldn't have worked if I wasn't coachable, and if he wasn't willing to coach. And you guys have done such a great job over these years implementing, and I just see the future is so bright here. So when we look at your website now, could you talk about just that weekly meeting and making those little iterations, and every week making it a little better? Because I think some people want to get rich quick. They want to become successful in 10 minutes. They want to ready, set, let's go. But you guys, every week we go to colawfitness.com. Every week we enhance the website. Every week we enhance the scripts. Every week we enhance the value proposition. Every week we're doing little tweaks that are improving the brand. Could you talk about that mindset of that weekly improvement?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, your numbers, you have to have good feedback tools, some key performance KPIs or key performance things you look at for sales over cancellations, and how much dollars you're spending on marketing. When we track that on a regular basis, we can see that we're doing well or not doing well. We make pivots. We get coaching feedback from you on best practices. And one thing is that you've not just worked in our industry, but lots of industries. And having a team of people, a team of coaches that say, hey, this is what's working, this is what's working, it's super valuable. Mm-hmm. And so, like I mean, I got an MBA in school, but I'm telling you, like, it's real life is so much more important, and having good people that have good feelers. It's like you're only as good as your team, and Clay brings a whole team to your team. And anyways, we have a weekly meeting. Our weekly meeting, we look at like what are the key things that impact us? It's going to be signups over cancels. What are those signups? Which ones upgraded to higher tier options, whether that's membership, higher tier membership options, or whether that's tiering up into higher services like fitness coaching, like one-on-one coaching or fitness training, or nutrition coaching or group training. But getting people into those things and understanding the scripts, how to role play that over and over again, making sure your staff understands how to communicate effectively with the customer, role play until that socially awkward, young person can totally get it and they understand how to do it, until the critical thinking phase has gone away. They know how to do it. Now you got staff that knows how to communicate well, how to show the product offering, benefits over cost, and then show them that, hey, if you don't do it, this is what won't happen. And you want to show them that you're going to really change their lives and save their life, add years to their life, quality to your years by changing new habits. And when people see that value, you've got the right staff articulating it, you close a lot of deals, you upgrade things, and you change a lot of lives.
Well, one thing, Clay, I think with the coaching is it's been beneficial. It's kind of like you're our blind side or a blind spot coach. This is what we've created. There's a lot of emotions attached to it. It's what we love. It's what feeds our family. And so we can become very emotionally charged. And I think you're super helpful to kind of bring us back in and go, hey, so you kind of keep us focused, separating the emotions from it. And I've heard a lot of people say to you, or, in conversations we'll have, and they'll say, yeah, but you don't understand landscaping. It's not about understanding landscaping. We don't talk fitness every week when we meet. But it's about, it's about business, and it's about where we're going, and you really help keep us on track. There's that accountability like you talked about.
You guys are just
super valuable. Your set of eyes is super valuable.
Yeah.
I'll just say this. I mean, colawfitness.com. If you're looking for a career, folks, I'm telling you, check out colawfitness.com. Now, point number 7, sales conversion. We have to have scripts, recorded calls, one sheets, lead trackers. What? We need to have sales scripts, recorded calls, all the visuals in the store. We call that internal marketing. There's external marketing, marketing to your ideal and likely buyers, but internal marketing, letting your current gym members know that you offer personal training or group fitness. Box number 8, you have to have a sustainable customer acquisition cost. What? You have to know, what does it cost you to land a new customer? Box number 9, you've got to create repeatable systems. When you clean the bathrooms every day, when you clean the showers every day, when you clean the locker rooms every day, when you clean the equipment every day, when you clean all these things multiple times a day, when you change the light bulbs every day, when you have to maintain the fitness equipment every day, when you have to hire people every day, you have to build repeatable systems or your head will explode. You got to have checklists and processes. Box number 11, you have to manage people. Manage people. What? This just in. We have to manage people. We got to hire people, manage people. How do you hire, inspire, train, retain? We have to do it. Box number 11, you have to build a sustainable schedule. What is the schedule that your company will keep? What hours will you be open? What kind of shifts do you have? What kind of org chart? Who's in charge? Who isn't? How do you deal with somebody that doesn't want to follow the systems? Because this just in, a customer will fire you if you won't fire your bad employees. In box number 12, you got to have a high standard with the A players, the B players. You got to coach up the B players to become A players. You got to coach those A players to become future leaders. You got to coach the C players out into another job or to the local bus station. You got to get them out of your life or they will ruin your business. And then box number 13, you got to make sure you're making money. It's not about how much money you make. It's about how much money you keep. Box number 14, you have to sit down every day and say, what does God want me to do? If every day is a gift, what does God want me to do? If every day is a gift from God, what does God want me to do with my faith, my family, my finances, my fitness, my friendship, my fun, my focused time? What does God want me to do with this day? That's all these things we have to think about there. And I'm telling you, folks, everything we're talking about on today's show, it wouldn't matter if Colaw Fitness was not obsessed with wowing the customers. Charles Colaw and Amber Colaw are obsessed with helping you take your fitness to the next level. If you're out there today and you are in Joplin, Missouri, you're in Texas, you are in all the different markets they're in, go to colawfitness.com. You can see the markets they're in. I'm telling you, these guys are obsessed with wowing customers. So I'll go to you, Amber, then I'll go to you, Charles. Everything we talked about doesn't work if you scam your customers. Everything we talked about doesn't matter if you don't wow your customers. Could you talk about why at the core, even though we're going over all this business stuff, all these details, at the end of the day, you guys at Colaw Fitness have to wow the customers. Why is that so important, Amber?
Well, I think for us, it's important because we love people, and everybody needs a belonging and worth, and they need to feel important and they need to feel cared for. And like, that's our passion. We just love loving on people. That's what made Charles such a phenomenal trainer when that was the initial start of the whole company. It was just his desire to help people and his love for them. And that was the same reason, a million years ago that I did hair. So I think for us, that's just what we're passionate about. We're passionate about people feeling like they are loved and they have value. And if we can pass that on through all of our front desk staff, if we can open more locations and bring in that many more people in these communities to feel loved, and, excuse me, and also spread the gospel at the same time, let them know God loves you, And so that's really what drives our passion in the coaching and development, even of our staff.
Now, Charles Cole, I got 2 final questions for you, and your wife can one up you. So here we go. 2 final questions.
Sure. Yes,
There's
sir.
somebody out there right now, they're thinking about coming to one of our in-person workshops. They know Tim Tebow's going to be there. They know Eric Trump will be there. They know that you might be there. But maybe if they haven't been to a workshop in the past, how would you describe the in-person 2-day interactive workshops? How would you describe them, sir?
It's raw and real. I mean, if you really want to if you really, really, really want to build a company, not just get like if you go to school, you get a business degree, they would say Clay's program is, business without the BS. There's no bull crap. He tells you the proven system, real proven systems that have grown and scaled hundreds, if not thousands of companies, add millions, like we are millions of dollars more in revenue because of these systems that we've implemented. And we've been able to scale and not have to actually work in the business. We work on the business, just the business system. So we can live in Florida. We're definitely engaged with our staff that runs these locations, and they're great lieutenants. But we have the systems, we have the checklists, we've got the workflows, and we have the systems that we can hold people to. We've retained the right talent. We've got really people in the bullpen for every position, so they aren't held hostage to having to do that. But all that to say, it's funny. He's very, Clay's pretty much like a comedian. It's hilarious to listen to. If you're willing to be coachable, if you're willing to have a humble and coachable heart that's willing to grow, he'll show you proven processes. There's going to be a pathway that you can be successful. And if you're a diligent doer and you just do 1 or 2 action items every week with your coach, the whole thing is it's just being more of a marathoner than a sprinter when you're working with a coach. Just do your 2 or 3 action items, and that 2 or 3, if you times that by 52 weeks, that's 150. Next time, you got a way better website. You got a way better lead funnel. You got way better staff hired. You've got systems, checklists, workflows, all document created into mind-freeing templates, sales flows, training and development of staff, all that. So you got people in the bullpen for each position, and you're no longer being held hostage as an owner, and you've got a proven system. So that's Clay and his team.
Well,
so,
I'll one up you. I will one up him this one time. Like there's truly nothing more exciting than to come to the conference. And we've been to almost every conference you've had for the last 7 to 8 years. And it is completely refreshing. I always get something new out of it. It's very practical. You're not sitting in this huge like ballroom with want speakers that you feel like are trying to sell you something and you're trying to stay awake. And that's not the case at all. It's kind of a circus with a whole lot of, there's a whole lot to take home. Even if you go to the conference and you decide, hey, this is not for me right now, or coaching is not for me, hands down, you will leave with practical business application items.
Now, final question I have for you guys. Just like Colaw Fitness, I mean, you put your name right there on the brand Colaw Fitness. You can't really go to thrivetimeshow.com without seeing my cranium. And so I take a lot of pride in what I do and wowing our customers. But for somebody out there, in particular, this guy today who's in the construction space, who's like, hey, what would coaching look like for me? Or is coaching for me? He's reaching out. Charles, what do you say? What kind of impact has the coaching that we've had with you guys over these past 7 or 8 years made on the impact or the success? Or what kind of impact has the coaching made on colawfitness.com?
Well, I want to say first off, personally, I've developed a great friendship with some really great people. And I thought that's been huge for me. So that's personally. And to know people that are in the same type of pressure that you have is running a company, running a business, to have people that are intelligent and they care as a friend. That is huge. That's the number one personally. And then professionally, to have a whole bullpen of a whole data set of lots of different industries, best practices, whether that's, generally it's either a sales issue, like you don't have enough sales, or then it's a staffing issue, you don't have the right staff, whether it's a scaling it, how do I, build this into a franchisable prototype? It's all stuff that they've done over and over and over again. And to where you have like a cognitive dissonance, like a mental disease with understanding it, they don't. And when you have somebody that gives you peace because it is something they've done before, it's priceless. So
yeah. Oh, I would say that you were talking about it hasn't just affected us in our business, but it has affected us in our personal life too, because all of these things that you learn can be rolled over into your personal life. So that's been huge. And like Charles was talking about, the connections that we've made with other business owners. Clay, you said at the very first conference we went to, your network is your net worth.
Amen.
And that is hands down. If you're hanging out with the old friends that have unsuccessful businesses, and you're hanging out with the old people who are complaining about having to work an 8-hour day, if you're spending your time with them and, it's just going to break the bank to go to Chili's for dinner, that you're going to stay there. You're going to stay in that influence of people. And every conference we meet new people, and we've got some of the most awesome friends that own businesses across the country, from the cheesecake store to a pizza shop, right? To dog training, to we've got some of our friends that live in cities that we have gyms and they're members at our clubs. And it's just it's so powerful. It gives us a whole community to bounce ideas off of and get encouragement from.
Charles, from an ROI perspective, if someone's going to look at it and go, return on investment, I pay you $1,700 a month. Will I make more money than I'm paying you? How would you maybe tackle, or how would you respond to, what kind of return on investment have you seen for the $1,700 a month you're paying?
Well, for example, Clay has got, there's no better business coach in the world that has the way he works, the way his mind works, but he's also got a team of other business coaches that have worked in lots of different industries. So he's worked in every industry. His staff has worked in every industry. He's got videographers, web designers. Just for the fact of like just the website alone is worth the $1,700. The ability to take any of their proven systems, whether that's a marketing thing or whether that's a staffing thing, like one thing done in the month it pays for itself. And then to understand this, there's a part of where, some week you may be like, well, you know what? I'm not getting a whole lot out of this call. But the bottom line is, it's like when you read the Bible, there's times you're just reading it and then you're like, you know what? And then you read it that one time and it's like, God really speaks to your heart. And the whole truth is, it's like, there's no way that you can get that kind of value for $1,700 to have a whole team of coaches, graphic designers, web developers, anybody that has that type of knowledge, in your back pocket. And then the whole thing is run your business with being somewhat conservative. Make sure you don't run it to the edge all the time. But by doing that, you have that skill set. You have those tools on your tool belt. And I just think it's just like the cost of doing business. Like just understand it. That's what I think.
There's sometimes the payment we make, I feel like, is peace of mind, even because there have been multiple times throughout the years that we will either be butting heads on something. We're super confused about something. We're fearful about something in the market's changed, and it's a quick call to Clay. And so that quick call to Clay, and he's outside the situation and he has other data points. We've had times that you got a quick response and you can tell us and direct us real quickly and we're right off the phone. And there's other times you'll go, I'll call you right back. And Clay will jump in and he'll call his other contacts and get back with us. Sometimes it takes longer, but there are times when you feel that way, when you're like, is this worth it? I don't feel like we're doing much right now, or we're not growing. Inevitably something like that'll come up, and like, that's our peace of mind. Like you're like a crucial team player. you know.
Well, it's an honor to serve you guys. And for everybody's watching right now, I encourage you, if you're looking for a career. Now, if you're looking for a job, don't fill out the form. But if you're looking for a career, go to colawfitness.com, because if you live in Joplin, Missouri, Charles, Dallas, Texas, Bartlesville, Oklahoma, Amber, we live in Topeka, Kansas. If you're out there, Arlington, if you're out there, to go to colawfitness.com if you're looking for a career and not just a job. Thank you, too, for carving out time with your busy schedule. And I'm so glad to have you here today.
Thanks,
Awesome.
Clay.
Thank you, Clay.
Awesome.
Take care, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.
I'm yelling something like this is a sexy Lamborghini.
Some shows don't need a celebrity narrator to introduce the show, but this show does. In a world filled with endless opportunities, why would two men who have built 13 multi-million-dollar businesses altruistically invest 5 hours per day to teach you the best practice business systems and moves that you can use? Because they believe in you, and they have a lot of time on their hands. They started from the bottom, now they're here. It's the Thrivetime show, starring the former U.S. Small Business Administration's Entrepreneur of the Year, Clay Clark, and the entrepreneur trapped inside an optometrist's body, Dr. Robert Zuttner. 2 men, 8 kids, co-created by 2 different women, 13 multi-million-dollar businesses.
We started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom, and we'll show you how to get here. Started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom, now we're here.
Started from the bottom, now we're at the top, teaching you the systems to get what we got. Colton Dixon's on the hooks, I break down the books. C's bringing some wisdom and the good looks. As the father of 5, that's why I'm alive. So if you see my wife and kids, please tell them hi. It's the CNC up on your radio, and now 3, 2, 1, here we go.
We started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom, and we'll show you how to get here. Started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom, now
Yes, and yes, Thrive Nation. It's a very special occasion because on today's show, we're joined by a real thriver. He could be, you might say, this guy looks like a hologram. He looks like an idealized hologram. This guy could be a male model, but no, he is an actual entrepreneur, a real client, a wonderful man. We've had the opportunity to meet in person during multiple in-person workshops. He comes from the great state of Iowa. Josiah Ragsdale, welcome on to the Thrive Time Show. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great.
So I got to ask you, how did you originally come in contact with us there, sir?
Actually through Spotify. Yep.
Through Spotify. Okay. Do you remember what you were doing on Spotify? Were you looking for business shows, or was it recommended, or how did you find the Thrive Time show?
I think I was looking for business shows because so at the time I was actually in school to build like custom cars, and then I was working on a dragster, and so like I was looking for some more. I've never liked listening to music, so I was looking for either an audiobook or a podcast or something, and ran across your guys' business show because I always figured I'd open up a custom car shop, and then so that's kind of how I found you. So
now, for anybody out there that wants to verify that you are a real person, the website is autoliftserve.com, autolift and serve, SERV.com. Josiah, could you share with everybody out there who wants to verify you're a real person? What's your first and last name, and what's the name of your company?
yeah, it's Josiah Ragsdale, and then the name of the company is Automotive Lift Services.
And what kind of services or solutions do you guys provide there? I think a lot of people are curious about that. What kind of services do you provide at autoliftserve.com?
Sure. So kind of our main niche is obviously fixing lifts, because we generally will prioritize speed of repair. So like we offer like 48-hour repair times guaranteed. But otherwise, as far as the rest of the equipment in the shop, if it's in a shop, like in the mechanic side, whether it be exhaust ventilation equipment or air compressor equipment, we service it and sell it as well. But lifts are our main bread and butter.
Now, what I wanted to do on today's show is really brag on you and kind of go through some of the wins that we've been able to work on together, because I think sometimes when people think about a business coach or a business consultant, they may think about a motivational guy. They may think about some sort of motivational, feelings focused, almost like business therapist, but that's not what we do at all. We focus on implementing a linear path to help real business owners grow their real companies. So we're going to go through all 14 steps today. So step number 1, revenue goals. I'm not asking you to share on today's show what your yearly revenue goals are, but why is it important for you as a coaching client and a business owner? Why was it important for you to figure out how much money you needed to do per week in sales to hit your goals and what your yearly goals actually were?
Yeah. So I mean, without knowing our yearly goal, there's no way to break down into what you need to hit per week. Because like that's a really important thing that we start with every single Monday morning, just between the my service manager here and myself is like figuring out, okay, this is how much cash we need to break even for this week, and this is how much cash we need to break even or should need to break even next week, and then this is what we need to make a profit. And here's our goal for profit. So I mean, I don't know how you would stay in business without knowing it. So
Okay, so let's drill into that for a second. Are you coming to our workshop coming up here in March? Are you coming to that?
I will not be, unfortunately. Nope, we've got a 2-month-old baby, so he's not moving yet.
Okay, well, let me pull this up real quick so people can see that you've been to a workshop, though. So you've been to a workshop.
Yep.
And I'm just going to throw out some ideas for anybody out there watching. We have Eric Trump. That's President Trump's son will be there. Robert Kiyosaki, best-selling author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Eric Trump obviously runs the Trump Organization. They have thousands of employees. We have Robert Kiyosaki, the best-selling author of the Rich Dad, Poor Dad series. We have Tom Wheelwright, one of the most respected wealth consultants on the planet. And people say to me, Clay, man, that's got to be hard putting together an event like that. And I say, well, we could define hard, but I'll just tell you this. It's about $175,000 for me to put on that event. And someone says, huh? Real numbers that you put out up front. You say, where does that go to? Well, you got the president's son here, so you need security. You need great security. We need all the police and all the law enforcement to keep him safe. You've got audio and visual people that work all weekend, and they set up for the event. We've got food. Anytime you try to feed a small army of people, which will be 400 people, think about it. Even if the average person, if we only invested in $20 over 2 days to feed them, that would quickly add up. But it's not $20. So you're talking about $50 of food per person. You've got the security. Then you got the flights, the hotel, the accommodations for the various speakers. And I can go on and on boring people with details, but you end up spending quickly about $150,000 to put on the event. And so because we only sell 400 tickets, you kind of do the math and you go, okay, that's what you need to do to break even. And I think everybody out there needs to have clarity on that. You mentioned it. I want to go back to this workflow for a second. The break even point, box number 2. Most people do not know how many customers they need to break even. Why is it absolutely essential for you and for any business owner, especially at autoliftserve.com? Why is it important for you to know how much you have to sell to break even?
Yeah, I mean, if you don't break even, you're going bankrupt. So that's about as important as it gets. I mean, I don't know how else to break that down.
Well, I think a lot of business owners, though, don't ever think about these things at all. I mean, I would say 99% of the wonderful doctors and dentists and lawyers and clients and automotive repair shops I've worked with, I mean, of all the clients in our portfolio, I would say 99% of them don't know their break-even point before they start coaching. And I think that's so important for everybody out there to really dial into that idea. Now, the third step is you got to know how many hours per week you're willing to work. Now, you have a baby on the way. Is this baby number 1 or baby number 407? How many kids do you have?
This baby number 1.
Yeah, and I remember when I first met you. You were baby free.
Yep.
You might have even been girlfriend free. I think you came to the conference with a friend, and I think one of the work vans stopped working, and you guys helped us fix the van or got it working.
Yep.
So a lot has changed in your life. Why is it important that you and your wife, you and your partner, that you guys have that you're on the same page with defining your schedule?
Oh, definitely, that's huge because I mean. If like we want to be happily married and have a good home for our future kids and whatnot because we want to have more kids too. But I mean, if I was just like always working, we probably wouldn't be married for very long. So like my curfew moved up from like 6:30 p.m. and being able to start as early as I wanted to like now I quit at 5, and then I don't get to work all day and all night on Saturdays anymore. So my Saturdays start earlier, and we've kind of changed when his bedtime is to kind of make it match too. But I mean that's really important. So
it's real stuff.
If you get divorced, you lose 50% of what you built. So too.
All right, now box number 4. Defining your unique value proposition. What is it that makes your company unique? So that's one thing we do with every client. We help you achieve that. But let's talk about autoliftserve.com. What do you guys do differently, autoliftserve.com, from your competition? What do you do that makes you unique in the world of business?
Yeah, so we guarantee that we'll fix the lift within 48 hours or it's free. Like we'll try and get people over to our maintenance plan right away. That's kind of our biggest thing because most people you go to, you're going to go ahead and you're going to call them. They're going to come out, diagnose it, bill you for that, and then they're going to order parts. You're going to go through. It's like a 30 to 60-day lead time on a lot of repairs. And kind of what we do is we'll go ahead of that and we'll go, okay, hey, for let's say $100 a month, whatever, we'll cover your lift. And then if anything breaks, we'll come out and have it fixed within 48 hours where you don't have to pay for it that month.
So again, you've thought through this, and you have a coach that works with you every week. Let's talk about this here. Moving on to box number 5, branding. That's the website, photography, video, logo, print pieces, video testimonials. How has improving your branding impacted your ability to go out there and sell in a competitive marketplace?
Oh, yeah, that's impacted a whole lot. I mean, like even when I was first showing up, like we were like right after starting up with you guys, like the difference between me going in and Dream 100 marketing beforehand and afterhand was huge. Because like before I'd go in, they'd be like, okay, this is just some guy off the street, clearly. Well, afterwards I went in, like we got into the Gavis group here in Iowa, and I was talking to one of them there, and they thought we were part of like a franchise. They were like, oh wow, are you a franchisee for this company or whatever? And I was like, that was the point that made me think like, oh wow, our branding's like really jumped quite a lot, and that's helped a lot because now they weren't as worried about like, oh, do you know specifically how you're going to fix this or what you're doing? Now it's more so like, okay, this is a legit company. We're not worried about it. Just book them.
I'm telling you, folks, people do judge a book by the cover. People do judge you based upon your branding. It's so important you nail it down. Box number 6, the 3-legged marketing stool. There's got to be a way that every business owner out there that you can stably, consistently, methodically market to your ideal and likely buyers. There's got to be a sustainable, proven way for you to market to your ideal and likely buyers. Can you talk about the impact that it's had having someone like Andrew, one of our coaches, working with you to make sure that you're diligently implementing a 3-legged marketing stool?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, just having some accountability because one of ours is Dream 100 marketing. So that's pretty big where we like physically show up and keep dropping off donuts until they cry, die, or buy. But so that one's big. That's more so just the accountability of making sure we're doing it. And then obviously like getting top of Google is our other main one. And then we run a lot of retargeting ads, stuff like that. We're cranking that up. So like those are 2 boxes that I really know nothing about. And so Andrew kind of takes everything from there. Like we have Lucky Orange on the website. Him and I go through it on our coach calls every week, and we kind of scroll through and see if there's stuff that could have people hanging up on or getting caught on and whatnot. But that's pretty much. I mean, he's pretty much taking on all that. Like we write some content too. You guys write a ton of content. But yeah, that'd be huge. I would have no idea what the heck to do with that without you guys. So
if you didn't have a team helping you get to the top of the Google search results, A, could you do it? And then B, what kind of impact has it made on your business being top in the Google search results?
Sure. Yeah. Could I do it? I probably could. It'd be horrible though. It'd take me way longer, and cost a lot more money because I would have screwed it up royally many times. And the impact is huge because obviously people find us on Google. We've got like several of our largest customers have came from a simple Google search, and they're like people that we've been trying to Dream 100 market to before that for years, and they basically didn't know who we are. And then one of these days, somebody's just Googling at their company and finds us, and they book us. And that's so much easier too when they find us on Google and they call us to book it. Like it's light years easier because now it's like they're looking for us. It's not we're cold calling them and trying to get them to buy something. So it's more so like order taking at that point instead of having to sell. So I mean, it's a huge impact.
Now, next area here, and again, this is all people always say to me. They always say, Josiah. People will say to me, they'll say, Clay, what is the most important thing I need to do to grow my company? And I would respond rhetorically, not in a difficult way. I'm just saying, well, what's the most important ingredient that makes cookies? Is it butter? Is it eggs? Is it chocolate chips? They say, what? I said, well, what's the most important part of the house? I mean, is it the framing? Is it the tile? Is it the countertops? Could you skip the footings? Could you skip the rebar? Could you skip the framing? Could you skip the shingles? It's all of those things working together. And I think a lot of people really don't think about business that way because of our educational system and the biases that are presented there. So box number 7, you got to create a sales conversion system. It's a sales conversion system. You have to have a system that we're talking about: scripts, recorded calls, one sheets, pre-written emails, lead trackers, tracking the results. How has tracking the results and having a turnkey system in place impacted your business?
Yeah, tracking results is absolutely huge. The lead tracker is probably the biggest, most game-changing thing we've done is with you guys, is because now we've got like one spot all of our notes are in, and it's nice and simple. We went through with Andrew, so it's just like if it's a white box, that just means we need to keep calling them. They haven't booked. If it's green, they're booked. If it's red, it's they said no. But that's simplified everything. I mean that's definitely the biggest one. The script, that's kind of always a work in progress. We go through that with Andrew relatively consistently too, because there's a lot of different steps and a lot of different questions that customers have depending on what they're calling on. But it's huge without what we have now. And I would say our stuff right now is nowhere close to being done. Like it still needs a lot more revisions. But without having it right now, like we definitely would have sold the wrong equipment into many shops, and that would have been a big problem.
Now we move on here to the next box here, folks, going 90 miles an hour. This is how you do it. Box number 8. You have to determine your sustainable customer acquisition costs. What does it cost you to get a new customer? You have to know, what does it cost to obtain a new customer? Do you have a tracking sheet? Do you know how much you're spending on advertisement? You have to know that. Box number 9. You've got to create repeatable systems, processes, and file organization. Repeatable systems, processes, and file organization. Now, this is not a fitness advice to anybody out there, but I'm going to give you an example. One of my clients is unbelievably fit. I mean, this guy is looking incredible. And he made the comment to me years ago. I said, "You look great." And he said, "Thank you. I pay for it." And I remember he said that like he'd been thinking about it. And I said, "Man, you look great." And he goes, "Thank you. I pay for it." And I was thinking, he was ready for that response. And so I said, "Can I ask what that means?" He's like, "Oh, I pay for a trainer 7 days a week. So 7 days a week, I have a trainer, somebody who's a coach who pushes me." And I said, "You look great. You've had a trainer?" This is a guy in his mid-40s. I'm like, "So you have a trainer 7 days a week?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Can I ask why?" And I kind of knew why, but it helps to hear it from somebody else. And he said, "Because if I don't, I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to have the workout pants on, the workout shoes on. I'm going to be there, and I'm not going to work out. And if I do, I'm not going to push myself. And so I have a trainer that pushes me for 40 minutes a day and who pushes me." And I said, "What do you pay per session?" True story. He said, $100 a session. I said, "So you're spending per week $700 a week?" He said, "Yeah, that's why I look like I do. I mean, that's something I've invested in." Now, again, I hear that all the time with people that have a great lawyer. They say, "Man, your legal systems are dialed in." They go, "Yeah, I pay for it. I have a lawyer." I see people that are phenomenal in the game of investing, and they go, "Yeah, I pay for it. I have a financial strategist." I think everybody in any area of our lives where we want to get better, we need to have a coach of some kind. Could you talk about the impact of having a coach, what that's done for you, having somebody like Andrew that actually gives a crap about your business, that actually is 100% focused on he meets you every week, knowing it's a flat rate, but also knowing that you have somebody that each week is going to follow up with you and make sure that all these systems are being implemented. Can you talk about the impact of that?
Yeah, it's huge. I'd say the biggest impact is probably every week kind of pulling me out of turtle view and back up into kind of a looking further out. So like I'd commonly so like for a long time, especially in the beginning, I was still doing a lot of technician work. Not so much anymore, but I was doing a lot of technician work. So it was like every Wednesday was like our call. That's like what got me back up to the point of thinking about, oh, okay, I'm actually building a company. Eventually we're gonna have somebody in this role. I'm not gonna have to do this forever, that kind of deal. But it's big. I'd say a lot of it's just like, of course, the accountability and getting numbers in your tracking sheet and stuff like that, so you know where you are and if you're gaining or not. But I'd say the bigger thing is like helping you get out of your own head and kind of see, at least for me, helping me get out of my own head and see that, oh, okay, I'm not trapped, and here's the next step I can do to get us a little bit further down the road. And he really kind of pulls that out because a lot of times I'll feel like I have no idea what to do next to keep growing the company. But in my conversation with him, a lot of times he can kind of pull that out just through us talking, and then it's like a lot more clear on how to keep growing.
I find it very interesting that all of the people I've met in my life who are very successful, they all have a coach, an advisor, or somebody that pushes them. The guy that I meet that has like the jacked up haircut is normally the guy that cuts his own hair. The guy that I meet that has a really, really nice car typically did not hand make the car. They typically reached out to someone who was proven to be an expert in the car making, and they bought the car from the Ferrari dealership, from the Lamborghini dealership. The guy who has the great haircut typically has a professional they're hiring. And in business out there, if you feel stuck, you've got to implement all these systems. So box number 10 and 11, box number 10, you've got to learn how to manage people. And that's not something that's normal, managing people. Do the people on your team know what their jobs are? And are they being held accountable for doing those jobs? Do the people on your team know what they're supposed to be doing? And are they doing those things? Could you talk about the impact of having a coach, how much that's made on your ability to manage people?
Yeah, that's another area that's really helpful because, I had no management experience prior to this. I don't connect with a lot of people very well either. So I don't, it was like basically every single week I just have a problem we go over with Andrew on like some kind of crazy thing that I didn't think people did, which is probably the most common thing. That's like, why is this like this is the job, this is all you got to do. Like, what's the problem here? But Andrew's very helpful in helping us figure out, how to manage people. I'd say a big part of helping me manage was helping me get the group interview going and rolling properly, because that has probably been the biggest influence on helping me manage people better, is maybe kind of moving some people out sooner and or moving some job shadows in, which kind of speeds people up then a little bit too. Yeah, but like none of that, I wouldn't have figured out any of that without him.
Now we move on here to the final couple steps here. Is you have to create a repetitive weekly schedule. You have to schedule time every week for the group interview, like we talked about, or your daily huddles. And that's something we work with, teaching our clients how to time block and build a schedule that works for them. Box number 12, teaching you how to hire and recruit great people. How do you hire, inspire, train, and retain great people? Box number 13, step number 13, you got to create an accounting system so you're actually aware of your money. Where's it going? But all of this, the whole point of doing all this, box 14, is so that you can achieve success in the area of your faith, your family, your friendship, your fitness, your finances, your fun, your focus. And so I encourage everybody out there, make a list today. What are your goals for your faith, your family, your friendship, fitness, your finances, your fun, your focus? What are your goals for faith, family, friendship, fitness, finances, fun, focus? What are your goals? And then the business exists just to help you achieve those goals. And so my final two questions I'd have for you, the listeners out there know that we've helped you with accounting and branding and online ads and search engine optimization. But my final two questions for you would be this. If you could explain to somebody in 60 seconds or less-ish, what kind of an impact has weekly business coaching made on you and your business?
Yeah, it's made a huge impact. I mean, like I said, I don't think we would be anywhere close to where we are right now, if even still in business, without it. It's like you guys have really helped just continue growing, because like without you guys, we wouldn't have our website cranking, we wouldn't have a bunch of leads, I'd probably be stuck in my own head. I'd probably still be stuck as a self-employed technician, and not have really figured out how to get out of that phase. Like I really think I'd be stuck there for many years without a weekly call.
Final question. There's somebody out there that is a big statistic guy. They want to see stats. I'm not asking you for your private numbers, but as far as a percentage, how much have you grown since we met you? Are you up like 2%, 7%,
Yeah.
10%? What kind of a percentage, or how would you quantify that?
Yeah. When we met, we were probably at, I don't know exactly what the percentage, but you could probably figure it out. When we met and first started with you guys, we probably had done like maybe 60 grand in a year. And we probably now do more like 2 million to 2.5 million in a year.
So you would say let's just do some math here. So if I take 2 million and I divide that by 60 grand, we could say you're up 33 times.
Yep.
That's an accurate number. You guys have grown 33 times. That's powerful. So I encourage everybody, go to thrivetimeshow.com. I have two calls to action for everybody out there today. First off, I want everyone to go to autoliftserve.com. And even if you don't know why, share this link on your socials, because what it does is it helps my wonderful client, Josiah, to rank higher in the search engine results. So if you just share a link to autoliftserve.com. It does help him rank higher on the search results. Second thing, if you want to come to one of our in-person workshops, you just go to thrivetimeshow.com. The tickets are always $250 or whatever price you can afford. So and we've made it affordable for everybody. That's thrivetimeshow.com. They're $250 or whatever price you can afford. How would you describe the workshops? You've been to the workshops. You've done the 13-point assessment. How would you describe the free 13-point assessment and the workshops?
Oh, the workshops are a blast. It's like you're in a room with a ton of other people who want to do the kind of the same thing. And it's probably the most, I don't know. It's just excellent. Like you just got to go. Like you go in, there's the whole thing is very different. Like I've never seen anything like it. You get to see a bunch of people who, like I said, are kind of in the same boat as you and meet them. And they're not normally just people who are kind of like, I'm just trying to sell insurance to this small group that you're somehow a part of in your town. But no, these are like people who are like really growing their companies. Like I can think of like Ryan Wells, for instance, grows like crazy. Like he's a ton of fun to talk to when we go down there. And I always get new ideas from it too. Cause I'm like, wow, we're really dropping the ball in this area and these guys are killing it. So it's awesome.
Well, congratulations on baby number one. Thank you for carving out time for us. I encourage everyone one more time, folks, if you haven't checked out that website, it does help our wonderful client, Josiah Ragsdale, to rank higher if you visit that website. So you might say, how do I do it? All you got to do is just go on over there to Auto Lift. Let me pull it up again here. It's the domain is AutoLiftServe. AutoLiftServe.com. Auto, L-I-F-T, serve, S-E-R-V. If you go there, what it does is it helps our client rank higher in the search results if you share today's link, if you share a link to his website. So make sure you do that, folks. Again, Josiah, thank you so much for your time, sir, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks.
Bye-bye. This song goes out to my main man, Kevin Falcon. Kevin Falcon. And Kicking Grass Landscaping, baby. The other day I was looking at my grass, thinking about ways to make the time pass, and I thought about prank calling people I don't know all morning. So I called 918-872-0338. I put that call through and the phone rang. Somebody picked the phone up. They said hello, and then I said what up. Next thing I know, I'm scheduling a professional to landscape my lawn and to mow that grow. It was like a show on the mowers they go, back and forth whacking that grass like whack-a-mole. It was total control the way they roll. Kicking grass, mow, blow, and go. It's like the Super Bowl of the mow show. I was so impressed, I gave them mow dough. I even offered to mow slow, wishing and hoping that I could prolong the show. But they said no, and I said whoa. I tried to film that thing on my video, but my phone was full, almost overload. Filled with videos from the garden show. We kicking grass now. We're kicking grass now. We're kicking grass now. It's like that now. It's like that now. You better go and kick that grass up off your land now. You better go and kick that grass up off your land now. You better go and kick that grass up off your land now. You better go and kick that grass up off your land now. You better go and kick that grass up off your land now. You better go and kick that grass up off your land.
My name is Kevin Falcon. I'm the owner-operator of Kicking Grass and Taking Names Lawn Care. Overall, I mean, I'm from when I first started to now, I'm like over 1,200%. It's the energy that it brings. It's the revitalization in what you're doing. I see what works. I've gone through the process, and it's just a flood every spring and summer. It's great. It works. It's so much easier. It's like if you enjoy the pain, keep doing what you're doing. But if you want to be successful, if you want to have that freedom, I mean, it happens very quickly. It's not like it's okay, in so many years we're going to get you here. Is if when you implement your systems and your suggestions and your guidance, it happens. It goes. It takes off.
Ladies and gentlemen, on today's show, we're joined by a man who had a job, and he says, you know what? I want to keep my job, and then I want to build something for my family. I want to build some different income streams for my family. I think what today's guest brings to the table is a really large slice of the American pie. Most people that I know, they have a job and they're looking to earn a little bit more money, time freedom, financial freedom. And so he started what I would call maybe a landscaping business or a lawn maintenance company. His name is Kevin Falcon. Kevin Falcon, welcome on to the Thrivetime Show. How are you, sir?
I'm great. How are you?
Brother, I'm excited to be with you here. And I'm going to pull up your website real quick so you can verify that you are not a hologram. Could you share with us, that website is kickinggrasstulsa.com, kickinggrasstulsa.com.
Yes, that is my website right there.
Could you verify what your first and last name is and what the name of your company is, sir?
My name is Kevin Falcon. I'm the owner operator of Kicking Grass and Taking Names Lawn Care.
Now, okay, I'm gonna go through rapid fire, no trick questions, just rapid fire. So here we go. How long have you worked with us approximately?
I think this is going to be my 6th year with you guys.
And Andrew always brags on you because you're just a low maintenance, hardworking guy. I want to tap into your brain, and just for anybody out there who's watching this, that maybe they have a job and they're kind of looking to start a side gig or a side hustle or a side company. Could you tell us, what were you doing before you started Kicking Grass, or maybe what were you doing while you were starting Kicking Grass?
So I worked for a local convenience store in the Tulsa area. Worked with them just over 20 years. Actually just quote unquote retired from them, so if you will. But I've always kind of maintained lawns on the side, and it's just something that I feel good at when I accomplish it.
Now, what was your goal when you started Kicking Grass, or where did the name? How did you come up with the name? How did you design that name, Kicking Grass?
So you guys came up with it. There was a moment you guys had mentioned in one of the meetings at your conference where, have you ever spent 8 hours working on your logo, moving it millimeter to the left, millimeter to the right, trying to perfect it? And, in my early 20s, I was trying to, do all that stuff, and all of it just really hit for me. And I'm like, it doesn't matter. It does. The name doesn't matter. The logos don't matter. So they asked me what I wanted, and I said, whatever you got. And they gave me 8 names, and I thought Kicking Grass was great, and I ran with it.
I'm just curious because I was part of that meeting. This is what happens a lot of times. Clients will reach out, and we have 160 clients, and the coach will say, Clay, we've got a lawn care company that needs a name. We've got a restaurant that needs a name. And so I'm just sort of long on ideas, but I'm not emotional about which idea you approve or which idea you go with. So it could say, step one, we sat down together, we came up with a name. And then the logo and the website, so many business owners get stuck there. As part of our business coaching program, we guide you through the entire path. And part of that obviously is building a website and the print piece and the graphic design. How much has that impacted you, having all of that with one flat monthly bill? Like how has that helped you from a peace of mind perspective, knowing, hey, I'm going to pay these guys a flat rate of this. And not only are they going to do the coaching, but they're going to provide photography, video, web, search engine, all those tools.
It simplifies everything. Like I said before, when I tried doing a lot of these things on my own, trying to remember everything as far as the advertisement and things like that portion of it, that's all handled and controlled, so to speak. I just have to worry about closing the deals and getting the jobs done.
Now, this next area, whenever someone thinks about growing a company, they always say, people will come to me all the time, and I'm sure you can imagine these situations. They'll come to me and they'll say, Clay, what's the most important thing I need to do to grow a company? In fact, I was talking yesterday to a lady who's looking to grow her dentistry practice, and she said, at the end of the day, what's the most important thing I need to do to grow a successful company? And I said, it's kind of like asking, a baker, what's the most important ingredient to make, a dessert item? Or it's like asking a landscaper, what's the most important tool you have? Is it the screwdriver? Is it the lawnmower? Is it the weed eater? Is it the leaf blower? And I would argue it's all of those things working in concert. What's your thoughts on that? Because I get asked that question a lot. They say, so with business coaching, what's the most important thing? I want to get your thoughts to that kind of question for somebody who's on the outside right now. In particular, this lady's a dentist, a wonderful dentist, sharp dentist. She has no leads, no real traction, but she's got the degree, she's got the overhead, and she's going, what's the main thing that moves the needle for your clients?
I would say the experience of trying to do all that stuff yourself and realizing there's only so many hats you can wear successfully, and knowing your strengths and your weaknesses, what to give up and who to delegate what to. Just that is the most important thing, realizing your shortcomings and trying to have somebody else maximize that for you.
So we're going to pull this up here. I wrote a book here. I've written 30 plus books. This particular book is called The Millionaire's Guide. And again, folks, if you might have missed it, that website is kickinggrasstulsa.com. That's the website, kickinggrasstulsa.com. And by the way, if anybody shares today's show, you'll help Kevin boost up higher in the search engine. So please feel free to share that URL, kickinggrasstulsa.com, no matter where in the world you're watching from. But if you go to thrivetimeshow.com and you go to /free resources, you can follow along. I've written 30 plus books, and you can download for free one of my books, The Millionaire's Guide, How to Become Sustainably Rich. And if we turn here in that book to page 5, we're going to go through this 90 miles an hour, all the steps here. So step number 1, I'm not asking you to tell us your numbers, but why do you have to establish the revenue goals? Like, why is that important for you as a business owner to know what your revenue goals are and what your weekly revenue goals are? Why is that important for you as a business owner?
That way you can judge how well you're doing, where you can improve at. If you don't have a benchmark, then you don't know whether you're meeting your full potential as a company.
And again, you came from a world where you worked very successfully for a long time in the convenience store industry. So you actually worked in a business where you had to know the numbers. You had to know the numbers for the store. You had to know inventory. So a lot of the things we taught are very applicable for your career as well. Box number 2, you got to know your break-even numbers. Whether it's the convenience store you ran or the landscaping company, you have to know how much crap do I have to sell to break even, or perhaps a more articulate way to say it is, how many customers do I need to break even? How many customers do I need? Why is that important? Why do you think that most of our coaching clients don't know that number before we start working with them?
Because they're just worried about trying to get their product out there and doing it. They don't realize that they may have a little bit of money to start with, and that's going to be depleted real quick unless they figure out, if I don't hit 10 customers a week, that's my break even, let's say, then I won't be able to maintain this lifestyle or this business at all.
Now, we talk about number 3, defining the number of work hours you're willing to work. You are working full-time at a job, having a lot of success in a career, while you were also growing a landscaping company. And one thing I never want to do for my clients is I never want my clients to try to feel the need to work the schedule I work, nor do I ever feel the need to work the schedule that my clients work. So clients always ask me, Clay, what hours do you keep? And I say, well, I really like to work from 5 a.m.-ish to 6 p.m.-ish, 6 days a week. People say, what? I just personally enjoy the idea of going from 5 to 6, pretty much 6 days a week. I get up around 3. That's what I like. Some of my clients work literally 2 hours a day. One of my clients I just talked to today, he's doing great. And he works less than 4 hours a day, and he's a multi-millionaire. Why was it important for you to figure out your schedule, your boundaries, and the hours that you were willing to work and the hours that you weren't willing to work?
Because for me, it was about the family. We've got 6 kids. And in a blink of an eye, they're moving out, they're going to college, things like that. We're down to our last 2, so I really wanted to make sure I had the time to spend with them, and then it's those little moments to be there for those kids. So with the time I put in with my previous job and the experience I now have while doing my new career, so to speak, I'm able to have that fluctuation and that time and that availability for all my kids wherever they are in their life.
It's powerful. It's powerful, folks. And I think if somebody out there, if you're watching today's show, that's a little, gut check for somebody out there. The whole purpose of a business is to create time and financial freedom so that we can pursue the goals that we believe God's given us. And a lot of that has to do with family. We talk at the Thrivetime Show workshops about sitting down and very intentionally making a list of your goals for your faith, your family, your finances, your fitness, your friendship, and your fun. And all of us struggle in different areas. I mean, some people are incredible family people. Maybe they struggle in finances. Some people are great at fitness. Maybe they struggle in business or whatever. But I encourage everybody out there to take the time to do that. Box number 4, we got to figure out how to make your company stand out in the clutter of commerce. How do we define your unique value proposition? How do we do it? Who are your top 3 competitors? How do we compete versus that. And we try to help our clients do that through marketing and branding. And I want to kind of move on to box number 5, which is branding. We want to make sure your branding is incredible. I ask everybody out there watching today's show, rate your website and your print pieces on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being the highest. Rate your marketing on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being the highest. And ask yourself, how highly would you rank your own website versus your competition? And that's the kind of stuff will help you bridge that gap and make your website, your photography, your video great. Box number 6, you have to have a 3-legged marketing stool. And Kevin, as you know, there's endless people reaching out to you, trying to convince you that this is the best way to market. You should try this ClickFunnels, do this magazine ad, do this mailer, do this thing, join this chamber, go to this networking thing, do this trade out sort of it's like where you do bartering and trading. There's a trade association. And if you're not careful, I mean, you get pulled in multiple directions. How is it, from a peace of mind perspective, how has it impacted you knowing that generating leads is not a problem for you now?
It's good. It's wonderful. I'm very skeptical now of everything else, like you were mentioning, the mailers, the magazine joiners, and all that stuff. I see what works. I've gone through the process, and it's just a flood every spring and summer. It's great.
So you would say you now know it's wonderful. You've gone through the process. You now know what works and what doesn't work. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Okay, I think it's big, because I think somebody out there doesn't know the process. They haven't gone through this process. They're running around looking for leads, scavenging for leads. And you said a flood. You just have a flood that comes in every spring. You just know it's going to happen now.
Yeah.
Okay. Box number 7, having a sales conversion process. And some people adhere to this very fastidiously, some not as much, but you have to have sales scripts, recorded calls, print pieces that make sense. And at the end of the day, you have to track your results. Can you talk about the impact that tracking every week with a business coach has had on your life and business, where you weekly look at your numbers and you actually track those numbers every week?
It's mind blowing to see how many leads we get. We've even started tracking like how much acreage we've mowed. I think we're somewhere just shy of just under 1,200 acres that we mow for the season, things like that. It's astonishing to see when you go back over these numbers, just to see how much you've actually accomplished. Because when you're in the moment and you're performing the task or the service that you have, you don't really notice all those details until you can step back and look back at what you've done and accomplished.
And one of the things that's so great about working with you is, I know you're going to come in on Friday. There's homework you have, there's homework we have. And it's really fun to help somebody, because money is just a magnifier. And so if you're out there today, and I'm telling you, if you're struggling to get leads, you too can do it. Hey, by the way, do you know who Lou Ferrigno is? He's the guy who played, he was the Incredible Hulk back in the day. Remember the Incredible Hulk?
Yeah.
Did that resonate with you? Did you care about the Incredible Hulk? Was that a big thing in your life? This isn't a trick question. I'm just curious. Were you a big...
I like the Hulk a lot. Yeah.
I'm giving you an invitation right now. Check your calendar. Seriously. The Incredible Hulk just reached out. He's going to be on my show on Monday or on Friday at 1 p.m.
Okay.
Friday at 1 p.m. He's going to be in the studio. So if you want to be in the studio to interview the Incredible Hulk, I just found out he's coming to Tulsa. He's going to be in our studio. I just found this out. So if you want to be there, open invitation to you, friend. I know Friday's the day you normally meet with Andrew, but you can, because most of our clients are not in Tulsa. So if you want to take advantage of that, you, me, Incredible Hulk, it's Friday at 1 o'clock. Friday at 1 o'clock. Okay. Now, next is box number 8. You have to know you have to determine your sustainable customer acquisition costs. This might blow someone's mind. I'm going to give people some facts here. Folks, did you know from our upcoming business workshop that it's going to cost me over $170,000 of cash to put that thing on? I don't think people recognize that. So when you talk about, let me walk people through this. You got Eric Trump. This is President Trump's son. This is the guy who runs the Trump organization. You've got Robert Kiyosaki, the best-selling author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, the top entrepreneurial author of all time. You have myself, and I work very cheap. You have Tom Wheelwright, the financial planner for Robert Kiyosaki. I just got off the phone with the law enforcement community. I mean, we've got security. I mean, we've got a Secret Service detail. We've got lunch. We've got the dinner. I mean, you get this because you ran a very successful convenience store. You know how costs can pile up.
Yes.
And so I'm not at all shocked that this just in, folks. If I'm spending over $150,000 to put this on, and there's only 300 people here. How much am I spending per person on putting this together? Someone might say, you're spending $500. Yeah. So I'm just being real. The costs can creep up and you say, man, why does it cost that much? Kevin, you've been to our workshops. I mean, we offer a workbook. We serve lunch both days. We bring in first-class talent and speakers. Could you explain the impact of attending the workshops and what that's made on your life and or business?
It's the energy that it brings. It's the revitalization in what you're doing. They talk about a lot of times in lawn care how sometimes, a lot of us are solo operators. And you get alone and you're out there and you're by yourself. It's always good to get back refreshed, see everyone else in whatever element that they're in. They're excited, they're pumped, they're hammering down the fundamentals of business with you and just making you kind of reevaluate, a self-reevaluation of what you're doing and how you're doing.
I just encourage, and do you ever laugh at the conferences? Do you laugh at all or not?
Yes.
So okay, because it's just so raw. I absolutely love it. Okay, so next area here, box number 9. You got to create repeatable systems, and I won't ask for the name of the convenience store you worked with, but I can say you were very successful in that field. And so that business is all about repeatable checklists and processes. And my dad had an opportunity to work for the same great organization that you did. So may my dad rest in peace, but he worked there as well. And you talk about checklists, you talk about scripts, you talk about daily to-do lists. You talk about no bathroom goes uncleaned. You talk about greeting customers with a smile. You talk about an expectation of excellence. You talk about no uncovered shifts. You talk about high and tight uniforms. You talk about mystery shoppers. You talk about merit-based pay. You talk about, there's so much we could talk about from that business that's applicable to this one. But could you talk about what it's like to build these systems and to have our team help you build these systems for your own business?
It's a lot of trial and error, but it's also, as the saying goes, it's better to be a pirate than a pioneer. So having said that, I was able to mirror a lot of what I was already doing and just copying over and translate and just kind of changing words here and there for my business. That way it could apply to what I do. And just, like I said, just taking those great ideas, I see that it already works and applying it for me.
Love it so much. And again, folks, for anybody who's scoring at home, if you're scoring at home, that's sort of an odd thing that you would be scoring right now at home. But if you are scoring at home, that's kickinggrasstulsa.com. We'll continue here, final 4 minutes together here. Box number 10, management systems. Once you start generating leads, you got to manage a team of people. You have to manage a team of people, and we talk about that. Once you're managing a team of people, you have to hire people. Box number 12, you got to learn how to hire people. How do you find people? How do you recruit people? Box number 11, you got to have a repetitive weekly schedule, a schedule that's sustainable for your family. You mentioned you have 6 kids. I've got 5 kids. You have me beat. You win. There's a competition. I just lost. You just won. You've got 6 kids. I've got 5. What I'm saying is all of this is what makes a successful company. It's not just branding. It's not just marketing. It's not just videography. It's all of it. So if you had to describe to somebody the growth you've seen maybe as a percentage over the past 6 years, are you up 1%? Are you up 10%? Have you grown by 1 lawn, 2 lawns, 1%? Is there some way to quantify the growth you've had over these years?
So from last year, I'm up by around 7% from last year. Overall, I'm from when I first started to now, I'm like over 1,200%, just within the first couple of years of when I was doing it to where you guys have gotten me. I was less. Like I said, we started following how much acreage we mow. So when I first did this, the acreage was barely nothing. I'm up to almost 1,200 acres a year now that we're doing. So there are some measurable points that we have.
So just to be clear, and I want to make sure I'm hearing this correct, you're saying since working with us that you're up over 1,200% in that time?
From my first year, yeah.
That's an incredible thing. I think somebody out there, because I know when I was starting my first company, djconnection.com, full disclosure, I haven't owned it in years, but this is what would happen to me. Kevin, I would go to a conference and they would say, you got to build a world-class website. And I would think to myself, I'm going to have to hire a guy. I called my web guy. I'm not complaining. I'm just being real. I called the web guy, and the web guy's like, well, this is the web guy now. first class website guy. He had built the website for Garth Brooks and other leading people. He'd said, well, it's going to be, $6,000 a month for a year for the website to maintain it. I'm going, okay. Again, I'm building America's largest DJ company. I don't know it yet. We're doing like 2 weddings a weekend, and this guy's telling me $6,000 a month. And he says, however, for your website, Clay, you're going to need a video for the website. I'm going, yeah. So for clients like colawfitness.com, we build their website and we make a video for them. That's included. But this guy said, you got to make a video. And I said, well, how much is that? He said, I don't make videos, but you can call my video guy. And I'll never forget. I called the video guy, $10,000 he wants for a great video. And I'm thinking, $4,000 a month for you, $10,000. I remember I was trying to figure out public relations and how that works. And so I'd heard about this cat named Michael Levine. And I thought, man, I need to get, because my web guy does the web, my video guy does my video, but nobody knows how to do public relations. I know what I'll do. I'll call this guy, Michael Levine. I've read his books. And I paid $25,000 for 3 hours of consulting. And this goes on and on. Can you maybe articulate for anybody out there that's on the fence who's thinking about scheduling a free consultation with our business coaching program? I mean, obviously, you've been a long-time client for a long time. Can you explain for anybody out there, if they go to thrivetimeshow.com and they schedule a free consultation, that part's free, but can you kind of explain that what the monthly fee, what you're paying versus what you're getting in your mind as a business owner?
You don't know what you're missing until you go and see what you can get. You know what you're going through as a business and what you're trying to accomplish and all the things you've gone through, but it's a free consultation. It's simple. It's easy. They're very workable with you. They provide a very guided stepping stone. And if you've done any of it on your own, as soon as you see it laid out in front of you, you're going to be like, oh, this is a much easier path.
Final question I have here for you. You're stuck in an elevator with somebody. I know you're a man. You didn't say, Clay, please let me on your show. Different. You're a guy who's humble. You're behind the scenes. You're raising your 6 kids. I think you'd probably rather be at the dentist than being on today's show. And I appreciate you stepping out of your comfort zone. So you're stuck in an elevator with some guy. You got 5 minutes until the rescue comes. And he's like, so, tell me, give me like a 60-second. How has the business coaching program impacted you? And would you recommend it?
It's for me, it's experience. And I've been there and I've butted my head against the wall and I've gone through what you guys have given me and it works. It's so much easier. It's like, if you enjoy the pain, keep doing what you're doing. But if you want to be successful, if you want to have that freedom, it happens very quickly. It's not like it's okay, in so many years, we're going to get you here. Is if when you implement your systems and your suggestions and your guidance, it happens. It goes. It takes off.
I'm super excited to see you Friday morning, but also if there's any way I could see you for that Lou Ferrigno interview, I think that'd be awesome. I think you'd have a lot of fun with that. We can harass him. I want it to be 2-on-1 where it's not just me versus him, because he's a big man. He's the intimidator. He's the Hulk. So maybe if you show up, maybe I'm less nervous. Maybe it's a good fit. If you can't, I get it. But open invitation this Friday. I'm not BSing you. I just found out the Hulkinator, the Incredible Hulk, Lou Ferrigno, is going to be in studio at this office, coming specifically for this interview at 1:00 on Friday. So if you want to be here, you are invited, my friend.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Clay, my honor to be on your show. And thank you for all you do. I hear the ripple effects from you are good ripple effects. You know what I mean? People rave about what they learned from you. So congratulations.
My name is Kevin Thomas, and the name of our company is MultiClean. We are a commercial janitorial service, and we serve the entire state of Oklahoma and Kansas and soon to be Arkansas. We have probably grown 5 times. I think when we first started with you, we had 60 to 65 employees, and now we have a little over 300 employees. Before we got involved with Thrivetime, we didn't really have any systems or processes in place. So I've probably been to, in 6-7 years, I've probably been to 12 to 13 business conferences, and amazingly, each time I go, I learn something new, and I'm so excited to bring it back and show the team about marketing and how to implement.
Okay, Aaron Antis, September 25th and 26th. Guess who's coming back to Tulsa? I will give you a hint. His first name is Eric. and his last name is Trump. Whoa. And his father is the 47th president of these United States. Yes, Eric Trump is joining us once again here September 25th and 26th in Tulsa, Oklahoma for the two-day interactive Thrivetime Show Business Growth Workshop. But Eric Trump is bringing friends. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Alina Habba will be joining Eric Trump right here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Amanda Grace will be in the place. Dr. Stella Emanuel will be here in T-Town in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Julie Green will be on the scene. Mel K will be here to say hey. Dave Scarlett from the His Glory team will be here. It's going to be a blasty blast right here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. If you want to start or grow a super successful company, if you want to make your wallet great again or make your wallet great for the first time, if you want to learn marketing, systems, scaling, human resources, accounting, social media, branding, search engine optimization, sales training, financial management, and more, get your tickets right now at thrivetimeshow.com. Once again, that's thrivetimeshow.com. Well, people don't know this, but the Trump Organization has thousands of employees. There's not 50 employees. The Trump Organization, again, most people don't know this, but the Trump Organization has thousands of employees. And while Donald J. Trump was the 45th president of these United States, he needed a competent man to run and execute his business plans. Showtime! So the man that runs the Trump Organization for Donald J. Trump, as he was the 45th president of the United States and now the 47th president of the United States, is Eric Trump. And so Eric Trump is here to talk about time management, promoting from within, marketing, branding, quality control, sales systems, workflow design, workflow mapping, how to build. I mean, everything that you see, the Trump hotels, the Trump golf courses, all their products, the man who manages billions of dollars of real estate and thousands of employees is here to teach us how to do it.
You are talking about one of the greatest brands on the planet from a business standpoint. Right. I mean, who else has been able to create a brand like the Trump brand? I mean, look at it. And this is the man behind the business for the last pretty much since 2015. He's been the man behind it. So you're talking, we're into 9 going into 10 years of him running it, and we get to tap into that knowledge. That's going to be amazing.
Now, think about this for a second.
But that Clay Clark, man, he is one character.
It's a good word for him, character. Yeah, that is it.
Good, driven, smart. And I've never met a guy who was so hyper all the time. He's doing so much good. And then I met his mother, and she just says, she just lets him be Clay Clark. I mean, so he's endorsed by his mother, and he's doing magnificent work. So it was great meeting you out there and all the people that he surrounds himself with. Clay Clark starts his days at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, it's incredible. Yeah, he's a machine. He's a machine.
Yeah. But I have problems with my company starting at 9 o'clock. Yes, hundreds of people showing up at 5 a.m. in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Man, he's a leader of a leader. He's a fantastic young man.
No, he is.
Whoa.